already asked you if alignment matters in this.
It doesn't. Really, you can use it to kind of have like build a personality for your character, but other than that, it doesn't matter.
Okay. So as a tiefling, I get like this dark vision and this hellish resistance.
Yep.
I'm gonna just put that in specials because I don't know what I was thinking.
I put that all under random places. Actually, now that I'm looking at it.
For like passive abilities, I could put it there.
Yeah.
Because I have like the Thieves' Cant ability, which is just like knowing certain languages and how to send messages secretly and stuff.
That's kind of cool.
Okay, I reduced the resolution to a lower one, so it shouldn't take as many resources to stream.
Let's build additional pylon. Nobody?
Nice.
Oh, Rick laughed.
Yeah, I laughed at it.
Well, I can't hear him.
I know, I didn't have the button pressed, sorry.
Oh my god. You're just gonna have to have the button pressed.
When he's gonna talk.
Just put it on the thing where it turns on whenever it hears you.
Open talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I can do that. I'm trying to finish my character here.
Well, I mean...
Oh, I guess I can do that now. Okay. Rick, say something. Like what? Did you hear Rick?
Yeah.
Kind of. He's really far in the background, but yeah.
Well, I have a noise-canceling microphone, so he's gotta, like, get in front of the mic. Like... Oh, gotta get
that's...
Yeah.
That's not what noise-canceling does, but I'll just... Okay.
That is... It's not canceling. It's not my headphones that are noise-canceling. Yeah. So it stops outside noise from coming in. Yeah. Can you hear what he's saying?
Prestidigitation or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he said it exactly like that. Yep. I don't know what part of my character I was on now. Thanks, guys, for...
God,
you're welcome.
Something about talking or something, languages.
Something about... Oh, right, I have Thieves' Cant. And then I have Dark Vision, which is pretty awesome.
I have that, too. It's pretty cool.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. And I look perpetually grumpy.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I also have Hellish Resistance, which is pretty sweet.
I don't know what that means. But
it means I have fire resistance.
I guess that's sweet.
Yeah,
Does it really constitute as sweet? I mean, like...
Oh, no, it's sweet.
Would it be cool?
No, just sweet.
Because it's resistance and...
I get what you're saying, but no.
I'll just stop being clever over here. I'll just...
Good. I want you to be clever anyways.
Ew.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. That was so mean. Please don't cry.
I wasn't crying. I was laughing. Oh, I dropped my pick. Why am I holding a pick?
Maybe you want to play guitars.
Well, I mean, usually, yeah, but...
Hey, I'm getting closer here. I've made my way through the class mods, I've made my way through the race mods, and now I'm gonna go through my background mods. Woohoo!
Yay!
There it is, okay. I was looking for Master Ooftalk.
Oh yeah, the guy who kicked my ass.
Oh man, Sin, you missed it. He got his ass handed to him.
I beat the living shit out of 2 other guys, though.
Yeah, but nobody remembers that anymore.
I do. Kidding me? There's that one elf guy that I literally knocked out in like a second flat.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. The elf guy was talking shit and then ran forward to hit him, and he just like snapped his arm, broke his shin bone in half, and then kicked him in the back of the head or something, and just laid him out.
What?
Yeah.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, I beat him up.
I would be hurting him.
Yeah, it's the new crit system that we put in place.
No, it's the same crit system. It's just working off of the damage rules for D&D.
Yeah, essentially there's 3 levels of crit now.
Oh yeah. Oh, there is. We did change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably should have mentioned that. So.
Yeah, we added the 3 levels of crit. So, whenever you do a crit, you have a chance of doing a light crit, a medium crit, or a critical crit. Yeah, and the chance of a heavy critical, you do something terrible to them. Medium one, you do something that's detrimental to their stats, and a light one, you do something that'll like slow them down, or cause them to be stunned or something like that.
Or fucks their shit up.
Yeah, if you do a bunch of light crits to the same place, they stack, and eventually, like, if you keep hitting the person in the knee lightly, just enough to crit them a little bit, then eventually they won't be able to walk anymore because their knee is swollen and sore.
Ouch.
And if you do like a medium one, it'd be something like they tore a tendon or you crack the bone slightly or something like that where it's now very painful for them to move on it, so they lose some of their dexterity.
Oh shit.
Or agility or whatever. Dexterity, yeah.
So, in my background, I just roll whatever dice it tells me to pick personality trait, scam, bond, ideal, etc.
You can do that, or you can just pick one.
Just pick
just
one
make
of
it
one.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or you can just make it up. Honestly, I don't really
You
give
just
a fuck.
want me to make. Okay.
Seriously, this game has like half as many rules as D&D.
I know, but you told me to include all the things, so
Yes,
I'm including
because
all the
it's
things.
part of the character creation process. So include it. Just, you don't have to give a fuck about particular details.
I do need to know who my false identity is, though. That's probably a good idea.
Do you have a false identity?
Yeah, as a charlatan.
Oh, that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, I felt it was pretty fitting for a rogue.
Okay, yeah.
Oh no. Are you playing a sneaky rogue again?
She's playing a sneaky rogue again.
I'm being an arcane trickster. Because I want to be an arcane trickster. And now, upon Rick's wonderful suggestion, my false identity could be a warlock. Because I'll just use my stupid arcane tricks to make it look like I do fancy things.
My monk has a spell book for no reason that he reads. Yeah. It's in my inventory. He reads it. Oh yeah, Rick is a warlock, by the way. So we have a warlock, a rogue, which I fucking told you she was going to do, and a monk. This is an interesting
I was almost a sorcerer, and I was almost a ranger, okay?
Okay.
But you're not.
Exactly, because then I saw that I could be an arcane trickster, and it sounded like fun.
Did Josh tell you about how you guys meet in the game?
No. I was gonna leave that up to them.
Yeah, because
No,
that's.
you didn't. You said you'd figured it out, and we didn't need to do it anymore.
No, I figured out the background story. I never said that.
Oh my god. Yes, you were like, or you don't have to do it because I did it already.
No, I said that nobody has to tell me their background story and how they got there, because if you want to come up with a story about why you're hanging out with a monk and a warlock and a rogue, you can do that, or you can just say whatever, we'll skip that part and get right into the game, because it's your character. It's not my.
I'm gonna make something up on the fly. It's gonna be great.
It's not my job nor my it's not my job to make up a story for your character, and it's detrimental for your character development.
That would be hilarious if you did, though. I would probably have a shit ton of flaws.
Yeah.
Like tripping everywhere.
Yeah.
My exact words. Ian Conrad did a mini test. It is also established my character in the story so that no one has to make up a backstory if they don't want to.
Well, it established your character in the town of Glimmering, yes.
Yeah. So that's it. That is all I said about it. Put words in my mouth, Sam.
I was just reading it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you're gonna put stuff in anybody's mouth, it should be potato chips.
Ooh, yes. If you could put potato chips in my mouth, that would be fantastic. You You can say whatever you want about me. I don't care at that point.
Can Rick scoot a little closer to the microphone there?
Or yell really loud? Just tell him to yell. God.
Yeah, Rick, it sounds like your Sen's hung her microphone from the ceiling for some inexplicable reason.
That's really, like, why would
No,
you
I have
do
a
that?
noise canceling microphone. So unless you're literally right in front of it, pretty much can't hear anything. What if I did this? What if here? No,
It's not gonna work.
it's not next to my mouth anymore though.
Yeah,
So
but
if you
now
get
it's
really
not
close to
working.
it.
I mean,
Yeah, now I can hear him.
yeah, that actually sounds great. Yeah.
Oh, boom. Who figures things out? Who figures things out? Who figures things out? Exactly.
I still can't really hear him.
Well, that's because he was whispering.
Yeah,
I wasn't talking to you.
Super quiet.
Okay. Maybe Sin is just really loud.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that would not surprise me. I have no idea where to put my scams and shit.
Of course it wouldn't surprise you. You're you. Why would it?
know. Exactly. See? You figured it out. Makes sense to me, okay?
Alright then. Well, of course it does. You're you. Like, this is getting really weird. Very meta conversation here.
I think it's funny.
Think what's funny?
This whole conversation.
Oh. Sorry.
Ooh, sarcasm and insults are really fun.
What?
Sarcasm and insults are really fun.
Yes.
See, I'm just
Quick refresher, does a shield just add to the AC, or is it a separate tool?
The way I have it written is, like, depending on the shield you're using and how familiar you are with it, it reduces your chance to be hit.
By how much?
It's like the same scaling thing. It's like it scales off of 10 points for depending on the size of the shield and your skill with it.
Okay.
Or the type of shield, I guess.
So like a level 1 dude with a shield would be minus 10 to hit.
Yep.
I feel like I'm so close to finishing, so don't you worry.
I wasn't worrying.
I mean, Safi's not here, so
That's true, and I doubt she's
I
going to
made
be.
it.
She hasn't responded yet.
Saf new snakes.
I don't think she's gonna show up.
Oh, kitty cat. Hello.
I am not a kitty cat.
No, but there is a kitty cat here laying next to me. He's become very infatuated with me lately.
Ah, yes.
Sleeping on my bed, laying on top of my arm, and not letting me use my mouth.
Your mouth?
Mouse.
your
yes,
mic cut out
when
at the
he
end
lays
of that.
on my arm, I can't talk.
I mean, I don't know. Me and Nick apparently both heard the same thing, so...
Yeah, exactly.
How does he do that?
I don't know.
What is he like, every time you try to talk, he just slaps the shit out of you? Like,
no, he sits on my arm and I lose the ability to speak.
But how does that work?
It doesn't. That's why I lose the ability to use my mouse, not my mouth.
But you said mouth.
No,
Nick,
you said mouth.
You heard mouth, right?
I heard mouth.
Well, you heard wrong.
That's why I exclaimed mouth.
Yeah, we both exclaimed mouth. We were very confused about how being on an arm prevents you from using your mouth. Is your mouth on your arm?
Deception is working, isn't it?
What deception? You're just as confused as we are.
I am not confused in any way, shape, or form.
Are you sure? Is your character done yet?
No, I'm on.
Well, alright then.
Thank you very much.
Use this phone.
Oh, well, Rick finished before me, so that's great.
Told you.
Whatever.
Use.
Whatever. Talk louder.
1/10 of my endurance, is that included with my proficiencies or
Wait, yes, like whatever you made. Oh my goodness, you need it. Okay, so
What?
hold on. Your intelligence, you put plus. Wait, your intelligence 6 plus 3 plus 1. That would make it 10.
okay, so
So yes, 1/10 of 10 times 50 plus 50. Oh.
Don't you mean 0.1 times 50 plus 50?
Yes. Because it's 10%
Of the endurance times 50.
Yes.
Yes.
plus 50. Yeah.
So 10% of the endurance times 50 plus 50.
Oh crap! You know what I just remembered, Conrad?
What?
I never figured out anything for AC.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that. We were talking AC, and I just assumed I would figure out how y'all made it work.
Yeah, you did. It just reduces the damage taken.
No. Remember, I couldn't come up with a good way to translate their the armor levels from fucking God. What is this game? D&D to my game. I have aphasia, all right. At least I have an excuse.
I thought we were just ignoring the D&D AC
Oh,
and using yours.
kind of. I mean, we're using some of the rules, like for instance, like if you get proficiencies or bonuses and stuff like that, where those are getting translated, but they're gonna have to get translated differently for each class because each one handles it differently. Like rogues have probably wear like light, medium armor.
Light, yeah.
Light armor. Okay, so.
And then like one of the things I get is leather armor. So
That's hot.
it's just light leather armor. Oh, is it? I mean, technically, I guess.
Yeah. Literally.
Usually when I wear my leather. Sometimes though, like when you wear your leather jacket outside, it blocks your skin from the sun, and it's actually kind of nice.
Yeah, it is. But you could also wear a non-leather jacket, and then you wouldn't be all weird and sticky.
But then you'd be sunburned.
Could wear a non-leather jacket, like I just said.
Then it might get sticky to you. Oh, I thought you said not a jacket.
No.
I don't know.
So I guess it's just going to be the regular armor rules. So whatever your armor is, modified by your endurance.
It just said light armor. It doesn't say what the armor is. It just said light armor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because a lot of classes have like, what is the word I need? Have like, no armor or no armor value. We're just gonna say that everyone has one armor, like natural armor, and then whatever additional armor you get is added to that.
What's everybody's? Josh, what's your armor level?
I'm a monk.
What?
I mean, base armor level is nothing really, but I guess with all the mods and stuff, it's like 7.
See, I don't understand what. I'm so confused.
What are you confused about?
where I'm figuring out what the number of my armor is. If it's a base 1.
Okay, you start with 1, naturally, because I'm just saying that because the math gets all fucky if you don't have it reach 1. And so everybody has 1, whether or not they're wearing armor or not. If you have armor, you add whatever armor value that is.
Oh, okay.
I heard the word dexterity, and I don't think that's right.
Yeah, it says armor is 11 plus dexterity modifier if I have leather armor, which I do.
So you get extra armor for wearing leather armor?
That's what it says. It says light armor that has padded leather, shutted, and I have leather, so it says
Shutted.
leather. Shutted leather?
Studded.
Studded, sorry.
Okay.
Can you get back to the point, please?
Josh, for
Anyway, I know I'm doing something.
for damage, you add your relevant stat to the damage, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so for an archer
Whatever
with
you roll,
so for an archer with 6 dex, using a short bow, it'd be 1d6 plus 6.
yes.
Okay.
Except your armor is not going to be 11.
I didn't say it was.
Oh, no. I mean, it's not going to be base 11.
I mean, I'm just going by what the book said, which is exactly what you told me to do, so I did it.
No, in fact, the exact words were, we're ignoring them. And
What? Okay, but then you told me it was base 1 plus whatever it says under your character.
that is not what I said. I said it's base 1, and then whatever armor you have equipped added to it, and whatever specific modifiers you get from different classes. Because some classes have different modifiers for how it handles armor, like monk. Or if you have like natural armor for stuff, then modify it off of that as well.
I don't know where to find another magic number then, because that's where it referred me to, and that's the only number it brings me to, so I don't know where to add to 1 from.
It's the same armor rules as every game we played using my game.
But like, okay, so if I have 1 and then I have leather armor, what number am I adding for my leather armor?
That's
what
2.
Okay. See, that was way easier than what you were telling me to do, because it didn't make any sense. I believe I'm onto my abilities.
think I have a test tomorrow.
You should probably study for that.
Nah.
It's gonna sound like a. Oh, never mind. Just kidding.
What? You know, I just realized. Oh, yeah, it's wrong. That fire is 10 feet wide. I just measured it. That is a 10-foot fire, comrade.
That's why it's so bright.
10-foot fire. Dear God. Like, what do two dudes need a 10-foot fire for?
We'll get to that. We're not starting here. We're starting in Glimmering.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, this is just the important part of the mod to have set up.
Okay, well, I'll put that away then. Do you have a map of Glimmering?
Give me a second.
Okay.
Bam. Glimmering. That's the main town of Glimmering. Your dojo's on the outskirt, as well as many other dojos.
Nice. That's a much smaller town than I was expecting it to be.
Well, Glimmering may be small, but the well in the center of it is actually a point of pilgrimage for a lot of people who follow the religion.
What? There's a religion?
Well, the religion in Glimmering actually stands in reverence to the ancient dragons that that disappeared 1,000 years ago, and they worship them as gods who will eventually come back to remove all evil from the world and all that fun stuff.
Oh, I see.
So
I
there,
thought we were like in a large town. Why would I open a dojo in a really, really small town with like what, 10 people in it? Like
well, this is the main thoroughfare. The town stretches across the land. It's just this is the interesting part.
Okay. So it's a large town. It's just that's like this town center.
Yeah, this is where this is where the temple is. This is where the Blessed Well is. This is where
So I'm
most of the
guessing
taverns are.
that weird like building in the north, just north of the well, is the temple.
That is the temple, yes.
Okay. Okay.
The tavern is a large building to the left.
All right, that's cool.
There are various houses
Hey,
and merchants there.
I see. I see. There's a. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and the building next to the tavern in the west, that's a stable. If you have any horses, mules, or any other animals, you can stable them there.
Like the one I'm going to steal.
Like the one you plan to steal.
Going to steal.
We're keeping track of ammo, yes. Along with inventory and all that stuff here.
Yeah.
I think I have everything. But I only get the one base level attack, right? Like level 1 attack. My sneak attack.
Yep.
Okay, then I'm gonna say I'm finished.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really sorry it took so long.
No, it's fine. Honestly, you finished 4 minutes before I was expecting Nick to be here, so.
Alright.
Okay, does Rick have his dude ready? So
Is that a cat?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
all right, if everybody's ready, we can go ahead and get started. Just let me know where you guys are.
Well, I guess.
Oh, like in the camp?
Yeah, well, no, not in the
No,
camp, in the town of Glimmering.
What?
I guess.
Look at the
look at
YouTube
the
stream.
feed.
Oh, that I don't have up because I thought you ended it. I'm sorry.
There's a new link in there because that feed wasn't working.
Because you know they have to reboot that series like every 3 or 4 years.
Well, I have to
I
tell you
didn't.
where
I
I am
didn't get it.
here?
Yeah, so you see the well in the center.
Yes.
To the
Nice
north is the
semicircle.
temple. To the west is the tavern. The building immediately to the east is a merchant, and to the south there are various members of the trade community as well as guild houses.
I'm gonna go to the tavern.
Yes, I'll be in my little dojo. Motherfuckers kung fu.
Okay.
Doing various things like making potions.
Rick was in the tavern before me.
Okay.
Apparently, they built the tavern around him.
I don't think that's true. I think he's lying. Pretty sure he's lying.
Nah.
Rick seems like an untrustworthy guy. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I've never talked to him, but so I don't actually know. But he did say they built a tavern around him. I don't know. I think that'd be really hard unless he's like literally concreted into the ground. Is he a tree? No. Then he's got to be lying. How would they build the floor? Right.
Floors back then.
What do you-
They must floors. It's a tavern. They're gonna put floor in a tavern.
Yeah, they are. Everyone builds floors.
This is a fantasy realm. Every floor is made out of marble.
Yeah.
So,
Marble as in the material, or like actually just a boatload of marbles?
a boatload of marbles.
Okay. A literal boatload. Marbles.
Yes. Even the smallest hut has a boatload of marbles poured into it.
Excellent. And one of them could be a universe. Dr. Pepper Bowl?
Yes. We are gonna go for the sake of us streaming things and say that yes, it is a Dr. Pepper bowl.
I just realized what you actually said.
Yes, Dr. Pepper bowl.
Dr. Pepper Bowl. Yep.
I need a source of heat for my Dr.
Gotta heat up that Dr. Pepper Bowl.
Yeah, I like
Can't just be
my Dr.
drinking it
Pepper
cold.
boiling hot.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, who drinks that cold? That's
Mika, was tunst du?
Mika does not. But I should
Well,
Mika.
I mean,
Du tragst nicht. Du tragst nicht aber dein Schuhe.
oh, she's speaking a different language. I'm really confused.
Warum tragst du nur Schuhe?
Deutsch. Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Moment, my son is wearing nothing but a pair of slippers.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god, that's so great.
Oh my god, he's just like his father.
He's just like any baby.
I'm so
Babies love to take their clothes off.
I want to
That's
run
true.
around in nothing but slippers.
I scream at a winch.
You what?
Rick screams at a winch to get the naked baby out.
Alright then.
Alright, so here we go. You are all residents of the land of Tamrain, which is, of course, a regular fantasy realm with elves and dwarves. You got the hiccups, buddy?
I do not.
And Tamrain 1,000 years ago, there are myths that dragons roam the lands.
Where there were.
Yes. Well, there are myths today that there were dragons roaming the land.
You said 1,000 years ago there are myths. There were myths.
Oh, well, there's myths today that 1,000 years.
Right.
Shut up.
Get your tenses right.
God.
Do we really need to talk about your grammar sticks?
Yeah, I'm trying to like do this while I've got a kid farting. Yeah, he's running around naked and farting.
Well, he's definitely your kid.
Mika, Zaizam. Hey. Hey. Zaizam. So, you find yourself on this day in the town of Glimmering. You're here for your various reasons. Rick and Sen, you are in the tavern. Josh, you are just to the northwest at your dojo.
No, I'm fine.
Mika.
Just chilling out on the roof.
Zaizam. Okay. What do you all's pretty quiet in the town. It's about midday when Sin and Rick, you hear two people arguing next to the well. They're arguing very loudly, and they are shouting at each other loud enough that you can hear them right through the closed doors.
Those doors are clearly open.
Yeah, I know, but they're closed. Use your imagination.
Decide that I'll wait on this one, and I take another sip of my beer. So I don't feel like going to intervene at the moment.
Okay.
I'm deep in thought, lost and not caring of anyone else's business.
I used to get lost in a town.
Sen, and I make the voices tell her to go mess with those people outside.
Shut the fuck up.
Well, I have dissonant whispers.
What does that do?
It projects a voice with what's it called? Suggestion. I can suggest things without giving away my position.
So now I don't get to chill with my beer, I guess. Great.
I think you have to do an intelligence save.
Okay. As you wait in the tavern, trying to ignore this, you suddenly hear one of the individuals shout, "Well, then you go!" And you hear a crack of bone and and kind of a wet thump as somebody gets punched in the face hard enough to knock them out.
Nice.
Moments later, a priest angrily walks to the door and right up. Oh, nine. He's got a hammer. He's running around the room screaming.
I wonder who taught him that.
I gave him an axe.
Yeah, well, the hammers kind of look like an axe. Fundamentally same.
If you wanted to know, I rolled an 84 in that intelligence save, so.
Technically, you're both.
Oh, does he have to roll intelligence too?
Yeah, because they're opposing
Oh,
rolls.
okay. What's your intelligence?
Roll a d100.
Well, I know.
Average
Plus
level
his
zero.
intelligence modifier, yes. He got a 55.
Half.
Man, I can't lie.
Not surprising, for a rogue.
Oh, I got an 84. Yeah, fuck your whispers.
So the priest storms across the room, leans against the tavern, and shouts for the innkeeper to bring him dwarf firewater, which, since you two seem to be drinkers, you would know is probably the strongest type of alcohol there is. Most people who aren't dwarves can't even drink it without almost instantly passing out. This priest knocks back an entire shot of it without even flinching and asks for another.
Is the priest a dwarf? I mean, I'm not there. So
No, he's an elf.
I just look over and observe lost in my thoughts. Because I told the stupid whispers to go away.
Okay. He sees you.
I'm not even.
He sees you glance over at him, and he takes his next drink and walks over to your table and
I
says,
shake my head. I shouldn't have looked at him.
"I haven't seen you two here before. Did you just arrive?"
Well, most of my beer is gone. So, no, I have not just arrived.
I tell him they built a tavern around me. I have always been here.
Your friend may have had too much to drink.
Maybe, yeah.
I hear the innkeeper will let you stay in the rooms upstairs if you're that drunk.
I'm sure he can get a room if he wants. What are you doing? Fighting at the well and then coming and taking 2 giant shots. Don't seem to affect you.
That was a minor dispute between me and one of the acolytes.
Ah.
Recently, one of our holy places has been tarnished by the touch of bandits. They've taken over the whole place.
You know we're demons, right?
And?
Holy places, don't really sit well with us.
You're telling me demons don't have places that are religious?
Definitely not holy.
That hold some sort of reverence? You pay reverence to an area, maybe a totem?
Are you asking for our help? That's what I want to know.
If you're willing to provide it. The argument I was having was over whether or not to pay the town of Glimmering to send the guards to go free our temple. It'd certainly be less expensive to pay adventurers or travelers to go.
I mean, that could be fun.
Do you think you're up to the task? There's only 2 of you.
How many, I can't remember what they're called now. I know you literally just said it.
Bandits?
How many bad guys are there?
Buttholes.
Bandits, yeah, bandits. How many buttholes are there?
We're not sure. One of the
Are they
one of the priests from Glitterdoom just arrived to give us the news.
Butt priest.
So it's either just go kill them all myself, which I don't know if I can do, or help you get this glimmering thing so you can get your message to your people. Does that sum it up?
Well, I don't have a message to give to anybody.
You're
Un-
very confused.
Man, apparently
Unless
so.
you're yeah,
Sorry, I'm paying attention to a dog and
unless you're coming to the service this evening, then I would have a message for you. But it'd be a message for all who follow the way of the dragons.
well, tell me what I need to do to help you, and I'll potentially do it. Why not?
Well, if you will go and free our temple from the hands of the bandits, we would certainly pay you well.
Ooh, money's cool. What do I need to do to kill these bandits?
I would imagine take something sharp and insert it someplace sensitive.
Well, of course. But they must have some sort of weakness or vulnerability that you might already know about.
Well,
Advantage I can take.
from what I gather, most of them are human, so right above the shoulder but below the jaw seems to be fairly good.
Well, that sounds like fun.
I also hear
Asked
the
anyone else to help you with this task? Why did you just ask us?
I was going to go to the guard, but I saw you here and you just offered to help, so
I asked if you wanted me to help,
that is pretty much the same thing.
and I said that it could be fun. Now I want details on it.
So do you not want to help?
No, I will help. Do you want to ask the guard too, and the guard can come with us, and then we'd have like extra help?
Well, if we send the guard, we're going to have to pay the guard the full price, and then
Oh, and then you can't pay me.
we should just send only the guard. But if you think you can handle a few bandits, we can pay you almost as well.
Fuck it. Down my beer.
If you think you'll need help, and I think you may, there's a new martial arts instructor who has just arrived in the city. I hear he put on a pretty good show before Master What was his name? Before Master Uftak was able to defeat him.
Oh man, I seen Master Uftak defeat that guy. That was some sick shit, bro. We should go check this guy out.
Want to go get the Kung Fu Master to help us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, you'll find him to the northwest of the city. I'm not sure if he'll help you. He has been quite busy training students recently.
He's been what recently?
Training students. He's just getting started in the city.
Well, clearly we'll have to pose as students to get his attention.
Or we could just casually
No,
walk.
we must pose as students to get his attention. Then gain his favor. And get real drunk.
Why don't I come along and watch you try to do this and say nothing so he can decide whether or not I'm playing along with your shenanigans?
Well, from my understanding, his fees are fairly steep if you want to train under him. So if you want to pay money, that's...
Or we could just go introduce ourselves. And...
Fine. We'll introduce ourselves.
Alright, cool. So I'm gonna go do that. I downed my beer.
Okay.
You finished over there? Or are you too busy being stuck inside of the tavern built around you?
Well, it's not my fault. They just built the tavern around me, okay? It's two separate coincidences.
So onward to said master.
Before you go, apologies. I should have introduced myself. I am the High Priest, Orsadil. You'll find me in the temple when you return.
Fantastic. How much do you give me? I guess that's a good question. I was just doing it kind of for fun, but the payments are gross.
Well, I was going to pay the guard a hefty price, so how does 100 gold pieces for each of you sound?
Yeah, cool. Great.
Throw in some of that fire water. We got a deal.
I believe the tavern keeper is the one who can give you the fire water. I have no real sway over him.
Well then. Touche.
It's not buying your fire water for you.
Sadly, he has yet to hear the message of the dragon.
Oh, I see. I see.
No. Good luck. Let us know how you fare, or if I don't hear from you in a few days, I'll send the guard, I guess.
And assume that we're dead. Well, here we come to find you, Mr. Master Kung Fu Man. Are you just going by Sticks in this game, or do you have a different name?
His name is Grok.
His name is Graw?
Grok,
Oh, Grok.
like
Okay.
from Stranger in a Strange Land.
Yeah, Graw.
Josh, you're gonna see. I don't know what your characters look like, so
Rick's name is Morbus, by the way.
okay. So
Morbus.
you're gonna see two tieflings walking up the road towards your dojo.
Okay. I guess I will walk over to. I guess I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing and see what they do. I don't know. I got thought that
What are you doing?
I'm teaching people to punch people better.
Right. Well, then I just go stand in the doorway and don't
There's
rudely
no
interrupt
doorway.
that I. What?
We're just in a big empty field. It's just a big field.
Oh, I thought you were in the dojo. That makes sense. Yeah.
Outside
Why
is
would
my
that?
dojo.
Right. Okay. Well, either way, I walk up and observe patiently, waiting for an opportunity to speak to you and not interrupt the work with your students.
Okay.
I don't know what this guy over here is gonna do.
I cast prestidigitation on Kendall, and she has like a bunch of explosions and fireworks behind her.
So that's what happens when you have a warlock in the party.
I guess.
Alright.
I would kind of look over a little confused.
You know you only get 4 of those a day, right?
I'm also looking around, wondering why there are fireworks popping around my head from this random tiefling warlock that I met at the tavern.
I would instruct my students to keep practicing and walk over and to sit and ask her why she is exploding in my field.
I was kind of wondering the same thing. probably ask this guy here.
Hey, yeah, we were wondering what was up, man. Do you want to go, like, kill some bandits with us, bro?
What my colleague meant to say is that we were approached by a man who is in need of help because his temple is being attacked by some bandits. He said you could be of service to us if we helped him out. And I think there's 100 gold and if that intrigues you.
Well, I could always use my money for my school.
Money's good. Yeah. So you want to take a break from teaching your students and come help us kill these bandits? It'll be fun.
Okay. I will instruct my students to continue practicing.
I
guess I'll go with that.
I do have a different name in this game, by the way. I don't always have the exact same character.
Don't lie to me. I'm playing a rogue again.
And I feel like you're just gonna call me Sin anyways, but I made my name Faye, so
Faye.
if you wanna call me Faye, that is cool.
So Faye, Grok, and Mobius?
Yeah. Faye, Grok,
I thought it was Morbius.
Morbius? No?
Morbius.
M-O-R-B-I-U-S? Morbius.
Morbius. Oh, that was Morbius.
Oh, so like morbidly obese and Mobius
Yes.
combined.
Like Morbius.
Yeah.
I like Morbius.
Okay, I think I can remember that.
Morbius.
Yeah.
Faye, Grok, Morbius. Okay, so do any of you know where the temple was? I don't recall the priest telling you.
Nope.
No.
I just kind of assumed they know. Cause,
I guess we should go back and ask him and hope that he's still there, or ask someone if they know where it is.
Would I know where it is? No, I haven't been here long enough. I wouldn't know.
I meant going back to the tavern.
Nice to meet you, Mikayo.
Guy. That we don't know the location of.
He said meet me back
Yep.
here.
But the temple in the center of the square. I would
That's what I
ask them
thought,
to
but
show you.
he made it seem like it was a different temple.
Two different temples, yeah.
I thought it was two different temples. But if it's the temple in the middle, then yeah, I know where it is. Let's go.
So Grok would say, so you invited me on a quest without knowing where you're going.
No, but I did know because it is the temple that I was speaking of. If it's the same temple in the middle of this town that I'm at.
So we're going to go rescue the temple in the middle of the town from being attacked by bandits, despite there being no bandits in the middle of the town.
See, no, that's what I was asking. So obviously we need to go ask around and figure out where the temple is. Now that we don't know where it is. But I am new to this town. I only came here to stop at the tavern and drink. So maybe you might know someone who can help us find it.
The only people I know are my students, a couple of the people around the town. I could ask, but I think your priest friend would be the one to ask.
Who is hopefully still in the tavern. So I can only go there, which was my original statement.
Alright then. I guess we'll go to the tavern.
And check to see if the priest is still there.
Yay.
Okay, so arriving at the tavern, you notice the priest is not in the tavern. However, the gentleman that he knocked out, who is a rather small gnome, is just now coming to, sitting up and kind of rubbing the side of his face, which is swollen up like a grapefruit. The temple doors are closed and there's a guard outside.
Temple doors are closed and there's a guard outside.
I will ask the gnome guy if he needs help.
We're gonna ask him if he needs help. I'm gonna ask him if he knows where the temple is at that we need to go see.
Well, he's clearly been punched in the face.
Yeah, by the guy who told us that he needs help with bandits.
Well, when you walk up and ask him if he needs help, he'd say, "Oh no, I'm just going to go to the Healers Guild in a minute." But it does smart. Although, Ursadil is an idiot. I wish he'd listened to me. We could have done this by ourselves and not had to involve anyone.
Well, nonetheless, we're now involved, so how...
Done what by yourself?
this temple.
We could have retaken the temple by ourselves, but he won't listen to me. I'm only an acolyte.
How so?
Well, I noticed when I was out there that the bandits seem to have a... They're being controlled by something. I don't know what, but they're being dispatched all over the land. They're almost immediately going out and raiding. Most bandits that we've ever had in this area will move into a place and stay there until they're no longer comfortable. Then they will go raiding for food and gold. These have immediately gone out, and they're not taking anything back. But if you time it just right, most of them are gone.
Excellent. I'm liking that plan.
I was telling Aradel, just the ones, or Ursadil, just the ones that are left, we should be able to sneak past. And if we can reclaim the temple, we can use... Need to stop. We'd be able to reclaim the temple.
Well, I'm not really one for sneaking.
I can sneak. Sneak sounds fun.
I'm not a sneaky kind of person.
Well, he'd look at you and he'd look the three of you up and down and he'd say, "It doesn't look like you'd have any trouble with the skeleton crew they leave behind."
Okay. Alright.
Mika, say something. If you're looking for the temple, if you're going to help us, it's east of town, just at the base of a mountain. It actually started as an old dwarf fortress, but they abandoned it when they found no gold. We moved in just a year after and turned it into a holy place.
Ah,
There's only one entrance.
There is, yes.
There's no secret entrances.
Not that we've found.
well, let's go punch people.
Alright.
So what is the best time to go so that they're have only a skeleton?
Oh, you want to go either just after dawn or just before dusk. They usually come back around midday, and they're there during the night. Oh, I'm sorry, they're there during the day. So you'll want to go after dusk or before dawn. I did just get hit very hard.
If you like, I could take a look at that. I am a member of the guild.
It would save me a few coins if you're offering to do it for free.
I don't know about free, but I'll certainly take a look at it, make sure you're fine.
Okay.
I only have a few supplies on me.
He'd sit up and let you examine him.
Alright.
Give me intelligence for that.
Yeah. Oh, I should probably open the thing that has all the dicey things on them, so I can do that with all my stuff.
Oh, danke.
So I had a question and now I can't remember.
I have an answer, but no longer have a question. 31?
Yeah, I did not roll well on that.
Well, you look him over and you can see that there's considerable swelling. You might think he may want to put something cold on it.
Yeah, I will tell him to go put something cold on.
I might try that. He looks a little unsure, but I may get a second opinion. Thank you. Thank you for looking at me. He'd then head off south towards the Healers Guild.
I'm still looking at you.
I say we make way towards this temple. Try to sneak our way in. Oh yeah, what time of day is it? That was my question.
We should go to the temple.
That's in the evening, around 4 or 5.
Ah, good. So we can go towards the temple and
It will be dusk.
yeah, well, or we can wait until they clear out, and then we can punch everyone who's left.
Let's do it.
Alright. So all of you give me a, oh shoot, what's the stat? Perception roll.
Hopefully is better. Intelligence. 87.
I got a 49. And Rick got a 28.
You
Really?
guys,
Somebody
you
got a
guys should open your eyes.
28?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Josh, Grok was paying attention enough. So as you are heading towards the temple, you realize that you pass by several bandits heading out from the encampment. You're able
Literally
to
walk past them.
you're able to alert your party and take cover in some bushes as they walk by.
Thank God.
I would literally just grab them and jump into the bush. Because I can only presume that they're literally staring at their own feet or, like, doing God only knows what warlocks and rogues do.
Well, luckily you're not noticed.
Yay.
And sometime around 10 or 11 o'clock, you arrive at the encampment. You can see a massive fire burning ahead of you, and two of the bandits are sitting down on logs, just sharpening weapons, picking at their fingernails, and maybe eating or drinking.
I see. Well, I would look at Faye, say, well, you're sneaky. Go sneak up on one of them. And then insert things into them. And then I'll punch them in the face.
Okay. That was a very concrete plan.
They're just regular bandits, right?
They're just regular bandits, right?
As far as you know.
Regular butt
What
bandits.
Mobius asked. What?
Mobius.
These guys just look like regular dudes. What if I just... Wait, I'm a demon. Got horns and crap. I can't do that.
What are you trying to do?
I don't know. Obviously something that involves not having horn.
I guess so. Oh, well, then let's not do it.
I say we go with my plan of stabbing and punching.
Well, how far away are they?
Approximately 100 billion feet.
What?
I don't know.
They're like 100 feet away from you.
105 for one and
Like-
110 for
Like
the
a
other.
third of a football field.
Yeah. Oh, that's my mount. I was wondering what the fuck that was.
So I could like go round the tent there and sneak up on them?
Okay, just go ahead and drag your character along the path that you're taking.
Oh. This is fun. Like here, right?
Okay.
Am I not allowed to be there? Why is it all red? Then I have it selected, right?
Yep, neither of them shows any sign of seeing you yet.
Can't see there. Oh,
Wait, did they disappear? Where did they go?
where did you go? It says you're over here. Oh.
You probably can't see them because they're blocked by the tent.
Right. But then I'll be in eyesight, like right there. Or maybe this is blocking it.
Hey, comrade, I have a question.
Bushes? Can I go in these bushes here?
Bushes.
See these bushes? Can I go there?
I'm not going to stop you.
Oh, okay.
What was the question?
Can't talk.
The shadowy ring. Is that like shadow? Could I...
That is where the light is dim. Outside of that shadow, it's dark. Inside of that shadow, it's very bright. So, say if you were an archer and you're in that shadow, they'd be firing at you at disadvantage.
Okay, so if I walk forward in there, they're going to be able to see me still.
Most likely.
And if I walk past that... Oh, I see.
I was kind of curious. They're like, it's gonna take me like a few turns to run to them.
Well, I mean, you can double move. That'll move you 60.
Oh, that makes sense. I do have a dash action.
I do have a crossbow. I can try to, but I feel like this tent is in the way of me trying to hit.
Yeah, that tent is definitely in the way. That's definitely a tent.
Well, it looks like if you hold the cursor over, you can see your line of sight.
Yeah.
And you kind of have a...
Like I can't see the dudes.
Can you see part of the guy's ring there?
Yes.
Yeah, so you should be able to see like part of him. You'd be firing at him with disadvantage because he technically has cover. He
Like,
might
it's not
possibly see you, but I already rolled for that.
Oh, okay. So if I decide to do like a duck and roll to behind the other tent, I would have to roll.
Why? It's like pitch black where you are. Like,
It is
more
pretty.
fun to do a duck and roll than it is to just walk over
I
there.
mean, if you want to do a tuck and roll, I'm gonna have you roll to not make any noise while you're doing acrobatics on, it's probably dry
I
grass
picked that as one of my proficiencies.
near a
took
bush
acrobatics too.
or
Yeah, but
or
acrobatics.
through a bush. That'd be interesting.
Well, I wasn't gonna go through the bush. I kind of figured that I could possibly just sneak on my toes over to their tent and them not see me.
Yeah.
It's a pretty small line of sight to go through.
Oh, speaking of line of sight,
Yeah.
as tieflings, do you have dark vision?
Yes. Isn't that lovely?
Everyone has dark vision. This is a great party. It's a weird party. No tiefling. Oh,
Okay.
warlock. I'm Mark.
I need to set you to dark vision. I didn't know what your characters were gonna be because nobody got on Discord and let me know what you'd be.
I have false identities.
Yeah. See, now you guys can see way better.
I mean, I could already see way better.
Well, that's because you had dark vision already set.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm a half orc, half elf for some reason.
Nice.
Because alcohol sometimes happens.
Well, I'm gonna do the same thing because even if they see me, they'll have to come check if I'm behind this tent here, and then that might give one of my other party members an advantage to do something. So I'm just gonna,
Like throw rocks.
tiptoe right over to this tent behind it. But I didn't want to go through the bushes. Like, you saw the path I took. Not through the bushes. Like,
Yeah. That's fine. All right. Neither of them even notice. Mika, du sitzt. Du sitzen ab. Sits.
So if I move to just outside that dark ring, would they be able to see me? Like hear it?
It looks like their vision extends to literally just the end of that ring, so no.
Alright, I'm gonna move right here.
Okay.
and the latest thing I should have scroll.
That way I'm only 95 away from him. And 100 away from him.
Yeah, I can't move Mobius because he's like hidden now.
Oh, click away from your character.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Good deal.
There's Safi. I can't move Safi. But Safi's not here. He doesn't exist.
Okay, so he wants to. Sorry, I gotta scroll out on this map to actually see. Like, why can't it just scroll up and down?
Right click.
Fragst du Mama? Fragst du Mama? Sie liest du die?
On top of shit tonight. I'm sorry.
No.
Whoop.
You are not on top of the poop.
No. Alright, so Mobius is gonna come over here to here. Good deal.
Okay.
Gonna hide. Okay.
So if whoa, people are hiding here.
Well,
Okay, so if I moved over here, which is really scary, but if I step out of those shadows, right? I could hit him with my short bow, maybe.
Okay, you're gonna step out from behind the tent and take a shot?
Yeah, like, I suppose, why not, right? We're here to kill them, so you guys sent me to try to sneak around and do that, so guess I'll try to do it to this guy here.
Okay, let me see if you get the drop on them. You do. So after you fire, we're gonna do initiative.
Wait, shit, what do I roll for that? Wait, D100?
Yes.
Yeah.
D100 plus your dex bonus.
No,
What?
not for accuracy.
Oh.
Kyle, come
to mama, anytime you anything for accuracy, you only get like whatever.
Come
Like,
on.
however proficient you are, whatever level of
Right.
proficiency
Okay.
with your weapon. So unless you have like specific training with it.
Yeah. So I guess that's a 90.
Say that again.
I have a proficiency bonus for simple weapons and crossbows.
Oh, okay. So yeah, then you get a plus 10 to your accuracy.
Right.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry, I keep forgetting some of the rules.
Put on your pajamas. Yeah, same. Cool.
Why do you guys not have these memorized like I do?
Yeah. Who are you shooting at?
Get yourself set to pajama debug.
Okay.
It's
That's pajama time.
64. Yeah. Okay. So you hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Some are new, some are old. Sorry, I have to look at my sheets. Some are new, some are red, some are blue.
So it's 1d6, and then you'd add your dex.
Some are fuzzy, and some are not.
Crits are still max damage.
But we can all pajama in whatever we've got. It's pajama time. It's pajama time.
It's pajama time.
Yeah, 14.
So you do 14 damage to him. What's your dex?
Pink, and some are green.
Jeez.
And some are the
All right.
ugliest you ever
Same as
seen.
mine.
So that goes out, and that
They may be stripy
is
or polka dot, but we can all pajama in whatever we got. It's pajama time.
well.
That's
That
exactly like when I do VIP kids and I'm giving the kids bananas for the monkey.
yeah.
Pajama, PJ. Yeah, they like earn
Everybody's
awards.
wearing
And I'm
them
like,
for
the
dancing
monkey
tonight.
gets bananas.
PJ.
That's
All
banana.
around the room in one big line.
So the bolt flashes into the firelight, sticks right into his shoulder.
It's pajama time.
That definitely gets his attention. He stands up and he breaks the bolt off and draws his sword.
I hide behind that tent.
Can you split your move action?
I don't know. I guess I'm not allowed to. I thought it. Yeah, I guess it was. No, it wasn't.
Go get a book.
I mean,
Go get a book. Mama, read your book.
well, I didn't take the sneak attack into consideration.
Go get a book.
But
Yeah, that is a sneak attack, isn't it? Do you get extra damage for that?
yes, I guess I should have. But I think it's the same as like my arrow. Then I was at dexterity, right?
Oh, so it's still just 1d6. That's it.
Prayers
Yeah, I
for
believe so.
children.
Oh, so it doesn't add damage. It's just okay.
Yeah, it's just an attack. Oh, it says to add an extra d6 of damage.
Yeah, then do that.
Now the
Oh,
snow
Go
okay.
on a
is
d6
gently
and add it to
falling,
that.
and the
Sorry.
world is
I
white.
swear to God, I will
No
get
birds are
proficient
calling.
at this.
Soft
Or not.
flakes
Don't
drip
lie to
down
me.
to cover every tree.
Oh, I rolled a 6.
There you go.
So you did an extra 6 damage?
Yes.
Plus 9, yeah.
February.
Yes, an additional 6
The
damage.
brave snowdrops push their way out of the dark.
He's still hurt. So let's go ahead and do initiative now.
Mine is 15.
These guys are okay. So
I forgot what we used as initiative.
Dex plus intelligence.
The wind is cold, but the sun is
18
bright.
for me.
The
Jesus
stream
fucking
goes
fuck.
by dancing.
Rix is
The
14.
birds begin
Mobius
to build
is
their
14.
nests. Let's shout and sing and dance and celebrate.
Okay.
the spring.
So Seth, you go first. Or sorry, Sen, you go first.
All around me, the world is green.
Quiet.
Even her name.
All around me,
That's
The
fine.
trees are
Yeah.
So
flowering.
yeah, I'll just shoot another
Everything is fresh
arrow
and
at
new.
him, right?
Okay.
And then hide behind the tent.
All right.
So shoot arrow, then hide behind the tent here.
Yep,
The
so give me a
winter
roll.
weather's truly past, and children play outside till
For damage,
nearly
right? Or
dark.
for
Yes.
D100.
Every little dog's
The
joy
D100.
and fun.
Yeah, for you roll against each other. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, there's a little dog.
Well, not for projectiles. For projectiles, for you basically just have to roll above a 10.
I love to be out with my friends on
Oh,
a
well,
summer
okay, I got a
day
91,
and
so
hear the
yeah.
birds sing
Yeah.
And
high
then roll
above
for
me.
my damage.
Yes.
Maybe summer could last
12. And then, is that still considered a sneak attack? I don't
No.
Okay, right. That's what I thought.
You already sneak.
Yeah.
Forest is cool and quiet in the summer.
Hey, Sin, if you zoom out far enough on your little, like, I guess what is that called? A thumbnail picture thing? Kind of looks like a middle finger.
It does a little bit.
Look at that screen. It kind of just looks like a.
Nice. Oh, I kind of just wanted it to be like my face, not like the whole picture, but
Well,
yeah.
that's too bad. It's the whole picture.
I could
I wouldn't
stretch
It's a
and
big
touch the
pink
clouds.
middle finger.
How
I'm gonna
wonderful
crop
to
it
be
and
proud
change
and
that
see
next
the
time.
world spread out
I'm
below.
gonna crap it.
Well, your second bolt drops low and goes right through the outside of his thigh and just rips a big,
The fields
jagged
of corn are golden.
cut into it.
The fruits and berries are ripening.
Dynamite.
Ready for the harvest?
That was
Okay.
very
Sunny
unenthusiastic.
mornings and the
Yeah,
cool
you
nights
know,
of autumn.
when you are things that you can't say because things are dreaming and you're really chill.
October.
Morbius, you're up.
The sand and sea and the sky
So
are
I'm
all
probably
one.
gonna have to move.
We hear the sound of the waves.
Wait.
Feel the salt spread
I mean, unless you want to attack that tent.
What is his initiative?
14.
Mine is 15.
All right. Sorry, I didn't put any names next to these.
Leaves are
Oh my
twirling
god.
everywhere,
Are you fucking kidding me?
shaken by the autumn wind,
Conrad,
spinning through
you're
the
killing me,
air.
dude. Fucking killing me. Or attempting to skip my turn.
All
Anyways,
the animals are sleeping. The tree branches
I guess
are
I'm
bare.
just gonna
It's the
run at
clouds.
that guy and yell a lot.
Are you going to try and intimidate?
I mean, you know what? Sure, fuck it, why not? I'm just gonna run and yell. I guess I'm gonna use my dash ability to double move
Okay.
to there, and I'm going to yell a lot. Yes, I don't. What do I roll for that? Is that strength or?
I guess that would be intelligence.
Okay.
What time is it?
It's 8:44.
92. Oh, wow, that's unexpected.
One more book, buddy.
I guess I'll yell in
Pick another
Orcish
book.
a lot, or I yell in a bunch of different languages. Make it just sound like incoherent madness.
All right. Well, you take the swordsman by surprise, and he goes flat-footed as he swings his head around and suddenly sees this orc charging out of the night towards him.
Yay! And then I guess that's
Yep.
not there.
Grok, you're up.
Oh my god, no, I'm Grok.
Right, Morbius, you're up.
Jesus fucking Christ. Ugh.
Alright, let's see if I move this far.
What's the weird circle?
That's the light
YouTube
from the
stream.
fire. This is kind of
Why don't you
dim,
just pause
and outside of it is dark. Inside of it is very light.
Right there.
I don't understand why everything around
Everyone
it
is how
is
far away
light,
from
though.
Morbius?
Because I don't have fog of war turned on because it was messing with
Oh.
stuff.
Well,
But it's still, like, they all have dark vision, so I can't show you. I can show you these guys. These guys can't see past the ring, see?
I'm still taking
Yep.
Man, I'll be able to punch
Yeah.
some motherfuckers.
Yeah, you're 75 feet away from the guy with the bow and 85 feet away from the guy with the sword and the shield.
There's a guy with a bow.
Yes. He's the one wearing a bandana.
At the bandana?
I don't know what that is. It looks like a bandana.
What kind of is a bandana? Okay, I didn't. It's a kind of a small little thing. I just thought he had a weird hat on.
He's a scarf.
Had like.
Yeah. He's a crip.
Oh, okay.
Much other than just chill out for now.
So skipping turn or
Yeah.
whatever that's called.
This guy looks like his right shoulder is actually a ray gun.
Let go.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
the soldier is, or the swordsman is a little confused, so he's going to skip his turn. The archer,
Yeah.
however, sees you running right through the firelight.
Yay!
What was it? Plus his dex.
You do not add dex to your
Do you
attack
need to
rolls.
poop?
No, the damage roll. He hit you.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So you get hit for 8 points of damage.
Okay.
An arrow comes out, skims right past your shoulder,
Yay!
and
Alright.
he runs back to put some distance between you and to try and remain unseen. Okay, back around to Sin or Faye. Your turn.
Basin.
Yeah, I knew that was
Sin Fei?
Sin Faye.
I like Basin.
Sin you Faye.
Sin your face.
Is this guy
Done.
like aware that I am behind the tent?
Well, I'm pretty sure he saw you shoot him twice.
I don't think he did. The first one was a sneak attack, and then he was hurt. So did he really?
Yeah, because you shot him.
Yeah,
I mean, he saw me.
he stood up and you shot him in the thigh.
Pretty sure he knows you're there.
He kind of knows where the bolts came from. If the first one didn't give it away, the second one was pretty. He's
So I
pretty
can use sneak
confident.
attack again because a new turn,
Yeah, only if you have advantage.
but I don't have advantage. Right. Okay. What I needed to make sure. Well, I'm still gonna just step out and hit him with another arrow. Like, why not?
Don't hit him with it. Shoot it at him.
Oh
Jesus.
my god, you know what I mean.
Throw, baby.
I'm the monk here, guys. Alright, I throw things and punch stuff. You shoot arrows and you do magic things. I don't really know. I've never played a warlock. I'm not entirely sure what they're about, but
So I roll a d1
Doc. See.
Saigo.
Got a 5.
Oh, what?
You literally rolled a
There's
5?
not a modifier I add, is there?
Oh, okay. Well, you
You
miss.
get plus 10. But yeah, you missed the fuck out of it.
Wait, why do I get plus 10?
Well, it's canceled out. He has a shield.
You missed this.
So this time, your bolt whips towards him, and he brings his shield around just in time, and it sticks right into the boss of it.
How is it gonna stick in the box? What is that bolt made out of?
A heavy crossbow bolt. It pierced right through the metal.
Oh my
Well,
god.
at least enough to stick in. Maybe it didn't penetrate the boss.
I'm gonna start calling you Roller.
Yeah. Okay. Grok, it is your turn, unless... Yeah, it's your turn.
Woo! Punching time! I'm just close enough to run in,
Nice.
yelling and screaming, and to beat the living, ever-living fuck out of him. Alright, I'm gonna swing my shit at him. And... things. 97.
Okay, and he gets 10 to avoid, but he rolled very low, so do your damage.
And I get 10 to avoid as well, so. Alright. This is plus. What? Oh, I can never. It's like 12. Oh, 20. Hold on. I gotta look. I had to put notes on this. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, that is a bad day for him. 21, and it's a crit.
Okay, did you want to roll your crit?
Yeah. And it's a D20, right?
Yes.
Oh, 19. It is
Alright, that's a major
badly
crit.
perfect. And the bonus attack is 13.
What is he doing?
Whatever he wants.
I don't know what he's doing. Okay, so you run up and you stomp his knee, his left knee, and you just hear the crack of the femur. And he,
Femur cracked, kicking him in the. You know anatomy.
you stomped on his left leg, because that's where you crit.
Okay.
Yeah, you crit his left leg, so you run up and you stomp on his left leg, the femur snaps in half, and he just crumples into a heap, shrieking.
Yay. So did you get the is he unconscious? Is he alive still?
He is not unconscious, although he wishes he was.
Okay, so the total damage is 34. Just so you know.
Okay?
21 from the first one and 13 from the bonus attack.
Yeah. So after he goes down in a heap, you stomp on his neck. You hear a crunch, and he's struggling to breathe and scream at the same time.
Excellent.
Morbius, it's your turn.
Morbius.
Morbidly obesious.
Morbidly obese, yes.
I'm gonna shoot the archer with an eldritch blast.
Okay.
Okay.
What is the save on that?
There is no save. It says the target takes 1d10 force damage.
Okay. Yeah, roll damage.
Okay.
Are we doing magic the same way that D&D does it?
Yeah, that's
I mean, for anything that is a projectile based, I mean, for the most part, we're using D&D magic system, but you roll the damage and then you add your modifying stat. So if it just says if there's no save, there's no save, and just take the damage. But
Yeah.
if it's like a ranged projectile attack, you roll for accuracy.
Like a magic missile. I think this is just kind of like an enchantment.
Yeah. So for anything that they could resist, you use your int to roll against. Then you do opposing rolls.
Alright, and he got a 10.
Did you crit?
Did you do? Is it D10? Is it 10 get total damage?
No, he rolled just a D10. Like,
Oh, okay.
There's no modifiers.
Yes, he adds intelligence. But...
Oh, you would add intelligence?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 20.
Damn. That motherfucker take 20 damage. Plus that was, I think 10 is max damage for that. Because it's a 1d10. Anytime you roll your max damage on a roll, it counts as crit for my game. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely.
Okay, did you want to roll your crit?
Roll a d20.
15.
Nice.
35 damage, son.
Alright.
No. It doesn't add damage. It determines what happens. crits play debilitating effects on the people they hit instead of like adding damage.
Okay. So you run into the firelight and you speak some demonic Fusrodik and just wave your hands in the air, and there's kind of a purplish electrical sizzling that just bursts forth from his body. All the breath is knocked out of his chest, and yeah, you see him grab his side in pain.
Okay. That's right, Mika. He is dead. Well, not yet.
Not yet.
Getting close though.
Okay. So the archer is going to flee.
Run to the hills.
And as he does so, he begins yelling, "Intruders! Intruders!"
Oh, great.
As he keeps yelling, don't listen to him. He's drunk.
Okay. And the guy at your feet just kind of groans. And that's his turn. Safi, back to you.
Oh my
I'm
god.
not
Jesus.
happy.
Fucking dick fucks, man. What is wrong with you? Do
Hey,
you know
man.
who anyone is?
There's a small
Oh
child
my god, I'm
right here.
doing a lot of things right now.
Well,
Sin, Faye.
move over here. And hide. Nope. What's that? Looks like the duck and rolled over there for only 2 minutes.
Yeah?
But, yeah, that's where I am. Because, obviously, if he's yelling intruders, people are going to come investigate. And if I'm hiding and they don't know I'm there, I have the advantage.
No, it's okay. Told everyone they're drunk.
Well, did you roll for whatever?
No, I just yelled, I guess. I just assumed I yelled really loud and
And that they believe you, shouldn't you roll for persuasion?
I mean, Conrad didn't
Mika!
tell me.
I'm just saying, I feel like that's... I mean, I want to know if that deters them from coming.
Yeah, Conrad,
Did he
did that
hit you?
deter them from coming? Did they believe it?
Persuasion, go.
They did not believe it.
Okay. They did not believe it.
No! I said no!
Nacht, Mika. Ik liebe dich.
Good night. Oh, we love you.
Schlaf gut. Oh, that's Josh.
Why don't you mumble to yourself?
I'm asking questions.
Water.
No, what is that?
This?
Yes.
Some kind of gift certificate that you got a while ago. I don't know what that is. Grok, I think it's your turn.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
I didn't know Sin was done. Okay. Or
Yeah,
face it.
all I did was go hide.
Alright, well, is this guy gonna continue to fight?
No.
Seems pretty down.
His leg is twisted at a really nasty looking angle. There's bone sticking out through there, and not only that, but his windpipe is mostly crushed.
Oh, so he's done fighting. Like,
He is done. He is
alright.
probably done doing a lot of things.
Good. I will. He's fine. I'm gonna run after that guy, I guess. I'll just. There. And I will. Guess. Yeah, just run. Continue to yell. Over here.
Running and continuing to yell.
Yeah, I'm just gonna continue to yell.
Let's see. Okay.
I'm going to yell, don't run, you'll only die tired. At the archer guy. I'm doing that.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly what I'm saying, comrade.
This is
Okay.
hilarious.
He just keeps running.
Oh,
Okay.
he's dumb. He's
More-
gonna die tired now.
Morbius, your turn.
Morbius.
Is it Mobius or Morbius or
It's morbidly obesious, but Morbius for short.
morbidly obese?
He's contemplating.
Okay.
Oh, I need to pay attention.
Yeah, should definitely pay attention.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
What? There's chip.
30 feet. Oh.
You can
four,
double move 60 feet.
1. Why not?
Nope.
Okay. Well, then.
Grok, you can, well, Grok and Morbius, you both can see the light of a swinging lantern coming around the tent towards you.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh.
No. Recognize the guy from this.
Warlock High School.
No, don't leave him back there. He should come over here, where I can kill him.
All right. Faye, your turn.
I definitely would murder him with my fists.
Oh, did you say I'm up? Me?
Yes,
Yeah.
I actually called you by the correct name this time, and you failed to
Yeah,
respond.
You didn't listen to him. Jesus.
No, I heard it. My brain didn't register. It just took me.
Of course it
Took me some time. Okay.
You just need some time, man.
Give me time. I guess. Can I just come out here and shoot this guy for fun?
For funsies?
What?
For funsies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
I,
come out and
I am.
shoot for fun.
I'm gonna duck and roll over here, and oh, why is he all red? He wasn't red before.
Oh, I just marked him as incapacitated.
Well, I don't want to do it then. Psh, that is irrelevant. Well, then I'm just gonna duck and roll over here because I'm just waiting until this
Where are you?
comes around, and then I'm gonna duck and roll over here.
You're not gonna help fighting, I guess. Okay.
I mean, I'm going over there. I'm going as fast as I
rolling
can.
This-
around in circles.
This kind of reminds me of Dark Souls.
Right? Oh my god! It totally is Dark Souls. You got the one guy who just rushes in and hits things, and you got the other person in the background who's just rolling in fucking circles. And this guy trying to use magic.
Alright, yeah, well, that was my turn because I duck and rolled 2 times toward the fight, and now I'm here.
Okay, Grok, you're up.
Woohoo! Rocking time. Yep, definitely. Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna come here, and since he's. I guess that counts as within 5 feet. Can I use my chain to grapple him?
Yeah.
Alright,
Which type of grapple are you going for?
This. Does he look stronger or? I don't know.
Give me a perception roll.
Is time make perception. Хорошо. 60.
Okay. Underneath his leather armor, he looks he looks pretty strong.
Alright. So I guess I could just do my. I mean, I guess one is for holding and the other's for dragging. I guess. And then
Yeah, if you want to restrain him, that's strength. If you want to tip him over, that's dex.
oh well, I guess I'll.
Yeah, if you restrain him, you can then grapple again to take him to the ground, but then you both go to the ground.
Oh, I'm fine with that. All right, I guess I'll restrain.
Okay?
And I guess that's strength.
Yeah, this will be opposed strength.
Okay. $80.
Okay, so you
So,
wrap the chain around his arm and yank him forward, and he's trying to get his arm free from the chain.
okay. Now restrain. And then you said I could grapple him to the ground.
Yes, if you have another attack action.
I do not. I only have the one. I already used my move action. Okay. Well, I guess he's just gonna chill there with a chain around his arm.
Okay, well, the benefit here is that he can't do anything next turn unless he frees himself. And freeing himself from you is going to take an action. Alright, so Morbius, you're up. Morbicity, you're up.
Obesity.
I'm seeing how far away this guy is here. 55.
If you attack him, you attack at advantage, which means you take 2 attack rolls, or if you're casting a spell, 2 damage rolls, and you take the highest one. What level spell is that?
It's a cantrip.
Is it a level 2 or a level 1?
It's a cantrip.
I don't know what the difference is.
It's level 0.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't.
Okay, cool.
It's basically at will. Use it whenever.
Okay.
So 23.
No, 13. It added it for you.
Oh, okay.
You rolled a 3 and you added the 10 modifier, so 13.
Oh, do it twice.
Oh, twice. So then 11. 13 and oh yeah. That's it, right?
So for 11?
13.
13. Right, so you wave your hands in the air again, and some sparks shoot out of the lantern, and you see him wince from the pain.
More laughing maniacally.
It's long.
He laughs like Mandark.
Okay, it is now the bandit's turn. So first, the swordsman is going to try and break free from you.
Okay.
Same check as before.
Okay. 91. Jesus. It is not his day.
He is not breaking free from you. However, the 2 archers standing in the back can see you because you're illuminated by his lantern.
Oh no, that's so unfortunate.
So they're gonna, because you're grappled with them, they're gonna take attacks at disadvantage, and if they fail to hit you, they're gonna hit the other guy.
Yay, I like that. I kind of enjoy them. Hitting the other guy.
Okay, so the first arrow whips right over the guy's shoulder and goes right by your ear, taking out a small chunk with it. You take 9 points of damage.
Oh no.
The other arrow, you see the guy suddenly stand up straight, and as he is fighting against your chain, you can see he's got another arrow kind of lodged in his butt.
Nice. Butt arrows. I would visibly laugh. Loudly.
Okay, that is going to be their turn. Back to you, Faye.
You used the correct name.
Okay, yeah.
Again, 2 for 2.
What my
Twice in a row.
Okay, so I'm seeing how far away.
If you try and move through the water, that's going to be half movement
No,
speed.
I'm seeing how far away this dude is.
Oh,
So she
okay.
can shoot him.
Moving anywhere, yeah. So yeah, but I can move a little further up, right?
Yeah. Move up to 30.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Cool.
The
Well, it does, but I can hit the archer dude. Because he doesn't know I'm there, so that can be a sneak attack, yes? I haven't did it yet.
No, he would not know you're there.
No, he doesn't know I'm sneaking around there.
They can really only see Grok right now.
Yeah, so that would be a sneak
rocking around.
So I would add dexterity.
Monk tank. Harsh.
Oh, that's right. But I need to roll a d100.
Which archer are you shooting at?
The human male 1254. Doesn't have a name.
Okay, the guy you chased over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bandana guy.
Gotcha.
Bandana guy. Bandana man.
Okay, we're making sure. Because I don't have to roll a d100 to see. No, because it's a sneak attack, so I just get to hit, right?
Yeah, and that's over 100 feet. What's the range on your crossbow?
It was 80 to 320.
Okay, so anything over 80, you're going to roll at a disadvantage when you do take a shot at him.
Wait, comrade.
Yeah, the minimum distance is just a normal, or I guess in this one you're not taking a disadvantage, you're taking a -10 penalty.
Yeah, it's a -10 per like specific for however like distance.
Yeah.
It basically 80 is it's 80 to 320. You said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 80 feet to 320 feet. So at 80 feet, it would be like her base, and then anything past that would go down her distance.
Right.
So base accuracy at 80 would be 0 or whatever, or plus whatever her modifiers are, and then as it gets closer to 20, it goes down.
Yeah.
So am I rolling for accuracy then? Or just rolling for damage?
Rolling for accuracy.
Yeah, and you're going to be doing it with a -10.
Oh, I accidentally rolled a d10, sorry.
Yeah, that's not gonna get the roll you want doing that.
You get the roll I want. What'd you roll?
48.
Okay, I believe that hits, so roll your damage.
Okay, and then I get it twice because I have my proficiency.
Yeah.
So 10 and would that figure out 15?
15 damage?
Yeah. Right, that's what I just did. Oh, right. Oh, 15 again. 4. 15 plus 4.
Okay, so 19. Okay, so your bolt Your bolt whips out and it lodges right in his collarbone. Okay, do you have another attack, or was that your action?
That was my action.
Alright. Then, Grok, it is your turn.
I am gonna begin beating the ever-living shit out of this guy. So I guess I will move closer. How does this work?
Well, you have him pretty much restrained, so you can move closer to him without, yeah, you can move closer to him, and any
Okay.
attack you make on him because you have him grappled is going to be at advantage.
Sweet, I'm going to beat the ever-living shitballs out of him. Okay, so I'm gonna roll 85.
Is that your highest one?
Yeah.
Okay. He is actually going to, as you go in and throw your punch, he's going to swing the lantern up.
He gets -10. I have dodge.
Oh, right.
That matters.
Okay, no, that does matter. It hits. You hit him.
Okay, good. Now I punch him in the face. Couple of times. Where's the thing? Oh, this thing. Oh dear God, that poor man. So, the first attack hits and is a crit, and the bonus attack is also a crit. So he takes 16 and then 16 more.
So 32 in total.
Yep.
Okay. Roll your crits while I subtract that.
A 15 and a 20.
Okay. So for the 15, this is arm, right arm. And for the 20, all right. So that's going to be bad for him.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. So you come running up and you throw a shot right at his face, and he swings the lantern and just redirects your fist. But you don't even hesitate. You just come right in with an elbow straight down on the joint of his shoulder. You see it kind of pop out of socket for a second, and his face just goes pale from the pain. As he steps back, kind of tightening the chain, you pull the chain towards yourself, turn around backwards, and just roundhouse him right in the chest, and you hear several ribs just crack.
Nice. Very nice. Is he alive?
He is. He is alive.
Is he still conscious?
I'm checking that now, actually.
Oh, okay.
God damn, I'm rolling low tonight.
Why are you guys whispering over there?
I'm asking questions about D&D and looking through the handbook, and I'm also listening to the story, so I don't want to like interrupt the story by talking really loud.
Okay, so he staggers back, and his knees buckle out from underneath him. You just see his eyes roll back in his head as he falls forward on his face.
I guess I'll release the chain then.
Alright.
No reason to keep grappling him if he's unconscious.
I mean, you can keep grappling him all you want. I guess you could choke him.
Oh. Could do that. Or I could move on to the next set of guys.
True story.
Alright, well, I guess that's my turn.
Okay, it'd be Morbius now. It'd be Morbides.
Morbides. Diabetes.
Defeats.
It's 40. Oh my god.
You can calm down, sir.
Make me?
Okay.
Alright.
Never in the history.
this dude is
75, 80.
85, 90.
There's only 2 of them that I'm currently aware of. Who's this guy?
Who's what guy?
The guy off in the dwarf fort.
Off in Dwarf Fort?
Oh, you
Yeah,
can see him
yeah.
already?
Yeah. He's like just between a couple of like pillars and trees and stuff. Just see it.
North, south, east, west?
Southwest of my position.
Oh, yeah, you can see things moving around up there. They look
There's
humanoid.
2 of them. I can see 2 of them. I see like
Oh,
a
shit.
fraction of somebody's face over here.
Yeah, give me a sec. No, they are visible to players there.
Okay, so what do you
I'm just gonna Eldritch Blast.
Alright, he's Eldridge blasting Bandana Man.
Okay,
Bandana man.
give me your damage.
Give me your thing.
Give me your damage. He gonna damage.
Son, what's your damage?
16.
You roll. So that's a 6 plus 10.
Alright, so you see him jerk up straight, his eyes flash purple for a second, and then he just collapses into a heap.
Yay! Oh man, he got X'd.
Okay.
So how do we get over to the dwarfy area?
Yeah, you can just
Probably
walk
go
through the
back
water,
around the cave.
you know.
I mean, according to this, I can just run 145 feet straight over there. But I mean, I don't think that's accurate.
It's a lot of difficult terrain there to go through. But I'm sure
Yeah,
if
but I'm
you
also a monk, and
looked around, you'd probably find a way to get over there. Maybe.
I mean, it kind of looks like I can go over here with this fallen Buddhist statue that's just chilling there for some reason. Or I can climb to the top of one of these tents and then just do a fucking flip over it.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
mean, that is a raised area, but yeah, you can climb up the side.
Yeah, why the hell wouldn't I?
Anyways, while you're distracted, another arrow, the other archer shoots another arrow at Morbius.
Oh, Morbius. Oh, well.
Yeah. Morbius, you're hit in the calf. It's not too bad, but you take 9 points of damage.
You subtract that damage, whatever your armor is, you subtract that amount of damage you take.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So 6.
Where'd he go? He ran
Yeah,
away?
he just like fucking disappeared.
Alright, cool. Well, if he disappeared, I might just have to kill his friend. I mean, I see he's conscious, but I mean, he could be made unalive.
I'm trying to do sneaky things. That's not fair because I'm blind.
I'd have to run really far away to go fight those other 2 guys.
Yeah, that's true.
But I want to go fight those other 2 guys.
Yeah, well, give me anybody who can see him, give me a perception.
Okay.
Anybody who can see him?
Yeah,
Can
See
him?
them.
see them.
Oh, so that would be Morbius. I can't.
94.
94. They look humanoid, but they're not moving properly.
What do you mean properly?
Well, they're too jerky, they're too stiff. They don't look like they're alive. They look like they're being suspended on strings or something.
Oh, so
Got no string. So there's jerks and they're stiff.
I just want to know where the other dude went. So is our battle over because the other dude just disappeared?
I'm pretty sure he ran behind that tent after, he exploded his buddy there, and I just, broke the limbs of two of his other friends until they lost consciousness. So I'm pretty sure he literally shit himself and then run away.
Well, great.
Yeah. Right? Seems like the logical plan at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So I
it's
guess
back to you,
we
Faye.
make our way over.
Yep. Now I finished moving the other NPCs, so.
We saved the temple.
I don't think so. Two of these guys are alive, and there's another guy over here, and then there's these two guys over here, which
Wait, the guy with the circle around him is still alive?
Yeah, they're alive. They're just unconscious.
Oh.
I broke, and they've. Well, I mean,
They're incapacitated. Whether or not they're conscious is debatable.
yeah, I guess that makes sense. That guy's got a bone coming out of his leg, and the other one has an arrow in his ass and a shitload of broken bone.
Yeah, you can see his chest fluttering as he struggles to breathe.
Is he sitting up or is he on the ground?
Oh, he's rolled over onto his back now.
Oh my god, he's on his back? That's where the arrow is.
Well, it's either that or not breathe, because he'd be laying on his crushed everything.
Well, now he's got an arrow, literally all the way up his ass.
He's basically got a foot cavity in in the bones of his chest, so.
Yeah.
Well, now for funsies, I am just gonna shoot this guy over here.
Alright, if it's within 80, that's just going to be a coup de grace.
That's gonna be a what?
Coup de grace.
You're just gonna hit him.
Right, yeah, cool.
Death.
So, yeah. That's what I want to do for funsies, yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead and give me damage.
Okay.
Alright, so he's laying there, not moving, and you shoot a bolt right through his head.
Cool. And then I'm just gonna walk over here. That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, Faye killed somebody.
Yeah.
They killed somebody in cold blood.
I mean, for funsies.
For just a fraction of a second, you'd see Ron kind of look over his shoulder and quietly rethink his companions. He's literally making the face he's making right now. After you killed him, he's like, really?
Well, Grok, are you taking your entire turn making faces?
No! Is it my turn? Oh,
yeah.
No. See, I want to go over here and fight these motherfuckers.
This is my turn. You're great.
I guess I'm gonna run this way. Over here.
Oh.
Ooh, goddamn it, I should have thought. What if I used the chain to drag him and then threw him, and then spun him around and used him as a... No. I was gonna try and use him as a counterweight, so I could spin him around and then use him to fling myself over the wall, kind of like a javelin, but kind of like, what's that thing called? A pole vault. But I realized I have a big-ass stick, and I could just use that to vault over the stuff.
Or you could just climb it.
Fuck that.
Alright.
I'm a monk.
Okay, so that's your move?
Yeah, that's as far as I can go, I think.
Okay, morbidity epidemic, it's up to you.
These names get better every time.
Yes. I guess so, yeah.
We can't see the other guy.
Yeah, he disappeared.
Oh, I'll just say
He
that.
ran away and pooped his pants behind a tent. Pretty sure he's behind a tent. I'm 100% sure.
Y'all are killing people looking at things. Oh, about his skill. Yeah.
Yeah.
His skill that he is talking about using.
Okay.
Oh, that's rude. Jeez.
Who's taking psychic damage?
No one. Apparently, when he dissonant whispered at me, I should have taken psychic damage.
But why
Yeah.
would you do that?
Well, obviously, because he is evil.
Because he likes wasting spells? I don't know. What are you guys doing?
He's researching what his dissonant whispers means. Make a move, yes. Yeah, he's deciding what move to make. You just can't hear all his comments because he's far away from. Therefore, we're just sitting here in silence. Yes, correct. We were clusterfucked around the bridge.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're just sitting here with our thumbs up our asses. Just
Well,
I
we
mean,
could either go
I'm
explore.
gonna try and go over to the south area here so I can punch some more of those things. Because those things are there, and I'm gonna
You
fucking
could
punch them.
follow. You could follow him, or you could go into the village. This area.
Alright, so you guys spent so much time trying to figure out what to do that you're now out of combat?
Oh,
good. I take a short rest.
I'm gonna go all the way around and fight these motherfuckers. Can I just go all the way around to fight the motherfuckers?
Which way are you going to fight them?
I don't know. I guess I could go straight through the bushes here. Because I know they're over here.
Okay.
In fact, I think that's the plan. The plan is to kind of get close and then literally leap over the bushes screaming and yelling and fight motherfuckers.
I shrug my shoulders and follow Grok.
Can I do that?
Okay, put yourself at the edge of the bushes.
Which edge? The north edge or the south?
The north.
Okay. Roughly here. My nigga. My nigga.
What? What?
Okay.
That.
He said Monica.
Rick.
Morbius,
Rick,
Faye.
that's my brother. Daniel. Call him Barry. Barry, make a character. D&D 5e immediately.
Ready, go.
D&D 5e?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a fun direction I wanted to go.
I'm trying some new translation. And we're
Yes.
We're currently playing a campaign with words in English.
Okay.
Alright. We have a monk, a rogue, and a warlock.
I don't think this is gonna happen. I think this is a pointless effort.
What's gonna happen?
Barry making a character and joining the game.
Okay.
Maybe.
It does take like an hour or so to make a character. It takes a while.
It shouldn't.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But, still do it anyways, because Safi abandoned us.
Okay, so Faye, 18, Grok, 15. Morbius, 14. And then these two guys. Alright, so you approach the bushes. Both of them notice you, and you're in combat. Yes.
Yep.
That means, Faye, you go first.
Alright. Sounds fun. Or I could do something new, or I could just keep shooting. I should probably have been counting my ammo.
By the way, it's a steep hill, and those are trees, not bushes in front of you.
Oh, great. Right,
Excellent.
so, but they can see us.
And you can see them.
So can I just like...
Wait, who has the high ground, them or us?
They do.
Okay.
And if I just like walked over here, I mean, man, that tree's still there. I could walk here and try to shoot him, just run up to him, shooting the crossbow.
I believe you. Yeah, why not? Fuck it.
I mean, you know what? Yeah, fuck it.
Point blank that shit.
If anything, I got a sword to back me up or something.
And a monk.
Cool. Right. So yeah, I'm gonna
Run up and stab him with your crossbow.
what? No, but you know, shoot up. I'm gonna run up and I'm gonna like jump and plant my feet and then raise my crossbow and shoot it at him. You know, for extra.
Why did you jump?
So I can plant my feet.
You could just
You're
stop
running.
running.
Yeah, it takes too much time. You'll stop faster if you take a little stomp.
Are you gonna shoot at them or
Yes, yes.
do a lot of acrobatics?
I do enjoy my acrobatics. It is one of
Okay. Alright then.
yeah, so wait, what am I rolling?
You're rolling
Am I
for
just
the
rolling damage?
you're rolling for the several cartwheels.
Is that?
Not gonna miss at
I'm rolling. I might. I don't know. Anyway, I rolled a 14, so
A what?
for 14 damage.
Okay. All right, so you shoot him right in the chest. You hear a dull thunk, and he doesn't even react.
Great.
What
Guys,
are those?
they're hard. They might be golems.
Conrad, what are they?
They're zombies.
Oh.
What?
How are the zombies hard and can't be pierced through the chest?
Oh no, you shot him in the chest, and it stuck in his chest.
Oh, so now I need to shoot him in the head. I see. Okay. Heard that. Well, I got my sword just in case, but that ends my turn.
This isn't George Romero zombies. This is D&D zombies. So
So do they still take damage? Or did they just not care about it?
oh no, that one just took 14 points of damage.
Oh, okay, so they have health. We just...
Yeah.
It's my turn! Oh, it's as close as I can get. I mean, I guess I could move a second. Or, wait, I have other things to do.
Didn't you get potions or something to throw at things?
Yeah, I do. I didn't think to get any that do damage. I mean, I've got the thorns thing, but I don't want to throw that in front of me. I can make it dark. I could throw big. I've got a flask of psychedelic potion. They're zombies. I don't think it'll matter. Also, I'm a little bit afraid to see what happens if we psychedelic the zombies.
You're so far away, you can't. It's not your turn.
I mean...
What do they-
Neat. Looks
really
really
good.
good.
I feel like my thumbnail is blending in with
You
the
can put
trees.
scales and stuff on it.
I am the trees. I don't know.
They're just slightly...
Looks like she's
they're
playing
just
her hair
outside
like
of
a
my
harp.
range and ability to hit them.
No. Dang.
That is so annoying. I mean, I have I can throw at them.
I don't know where my phone went again.
I mean, yeah, I got nothing. I I really should have planned for this. I didn't think I'd ever need to actually throw something to do damage to something, but I mean, I guess I could move closer, but then that would take up all my action. Ah, fuck it. I'm gonna run up to this zombie, stare him right in the face. Just gonna look him dead in the eyes. In his dead eyes. Can I
Okay.
intimidate the zombie? Is that a thing?
You cannot intimidate a zombie.
Oh. Can I make friends with it?
You can try, but I'm pretty sure there are diseases you get from that.
Arms of Hadar.
Arms of Hadar. No?
Oh, the what?
Wait a minute.
Go after?
That's right. Or it's Witch Bolt. That's what it was.
Which bull?
Witch Bolt.
Tell me what to do.
So my Witch Bolt takes a minute for me to cast, but its range is 30 feet, and a beam of crackling blue energy lances out toward a creature within range, forming a sustained arc of lightning between blah blah blah. Make a ranged spell attack against that creature. On a hit, the target takes 1d12 lightning damage, and on each of your turns for the duration, you can use the action to deal 1d12 of lightning damage to a target automatically. The spell ends if you use your action to do anything else.
So it's Sith Lightning.
Essentially, yeah, but I'm a warlock.
So how many?
Yeah.
What am I?
You're a Sith. Okay, got it.
Now,
You used a force attack, and now you're
Yes.
shooting lightning. You're a
Hell
motherfucking
yeah.
Sith. Okay.
Pretty much.
so yeah, that's gonna take you. How many turns? Because you said it takes a minute to charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
concentration.
Alright.
It says up to 1 minute.
So up to.
I guess it's at.
Oh no, concentration. That means you can hold it for 1 minute.
Ah, okay.
As in, so like if you hit the guy, you can on him for up to 1 minute, but if you choose to do another action, it cancels.
Yeah.
All right.
Just keep jocking it.
Does it have an area of effect?
Yeah, 30 feet.
No, it's not 30 feet. That's the range.
Oh yeah, that is the range. Yeah.
No,
Does it have an
there
area?
is no AoE.
There is no AoE.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
D12.
Yeah, 1d12.
What's your intelligence? Which is 16. Oh, damage. But then is that like 16 damage over and over?
Right now.
16 lightning damage right now. And then on each of your turns, you deal another d12. So when it comes around to his turn, it does damage again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it matter if he moves?
Yeah, I can move around as long as the guys.
Yeah. And he could, I mean, I guess he could move around while he's being electrocuted. Sure.
Okay.
It doesn't constrain.
Okay. All right. So he takes. You said 16 points of damage.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. How many turns is 1 minute?
3 turns.
Yeah.
Actually, I think a minute is quite some time because like each round is what 6 seconds.
Something like that.
Yeah. So it'd actually be more like 10 rounds.
10. Yeah. So you could just hold
You
that
just
for a
be
good while.
electrocuting him for a while.
That's what we're doing.
If I try to move away from him, does he get an attack of opportunity?
Yeah.
Fuck. So I just, okay. Say, while he was lightning bolting him, I could have just gone and fought the other guy, but... Oh well. I think the other guy's too far away anyways. Yeah, I couldn't actually... no, I could actually get over there. Oh well, I'll just punch this guy a lot. On my turn. As he's getting electrocuted.
Okay, you see his skin kind of sizzling, but he doesn't seem to even notice as he turns around and he swipes his hands at you.
Oh, at me?
Yes.
Okay. And, oh, that's the wrong button. 109. Dear God.
Alright,
Damn.
roll damage.
Alrighty then. Oh, that's a crit. It's 22.
Okay, 22 points of damage.
Yep. Oh, okay. Crit. So I guess I should probably roll the holy thing. 2. So, okay. I guess that makes up for the 19 and the 20.
Yeah, and it's a zombie, so
Yeah, I don't think it really matters. Much.
yeah, you bop him on the head. Nobody knows why. You even say boop when you do it.
Asterisk.
Alright? He's then going to try and bite you.
Oh, he gets 2 attacks?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess...
Aw, shit.
Is that a bonus attack or like an actual attack action?
He gets a bonus attack action.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
zombies get a chance to bite and claw every turn.
Oh, so they do both. So do I roll normally? Am I rolling to oppose the attack, or am I just
You're rolling
attack?
normally. If they're grappled, the bite is going to be just damage.
Okay, 44.
Okay, he is going to hit you.
Okay, he does get a minus 10. It attacks me.
Yeah.
In case you forgot, but yeah, just making sure you remembered.
No,
But I figured, yeah.
yeah.
All
Let me
right, what do I
see
take?
the bite. Okay, so you kind of throw your arm up in defense, and it's light. You're able to get your arm up kind of under his chin. It only grazes your arm. You take 3 points.
Okay.
Okay, Faye, it's your turn again.
I can only do so much, and I definitely but
Definitely get tickets.
I don't want to get bit.
Oh, well, he's gonna bite me. That's what I'm here for.
Oh, okay. I'm still gonna walk over here and try to stab it.
Why?
Don't move into his square.
Oh,
Yes, Sin.
jeez.
You'll be the enemy, and we'll have to fight you.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
just wanted to use something besides my bow.
Alright.
I decided I would run up and stab him.
okay.
Okay, then.
Right? He's already distracted by you.
And being electrocuted. So he's...
Oh, wait. No, I don't want to stab him anymore.
It'll be fine. He's
No.
not gonna go... He's already
I feel like
electrocuted.
I'm gonna get electrocuted. No.
No. It's already... It's
That's
fine.
that's not how that works.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. That's how it works in my head.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing you're not an engineer.
It's magical lightning. It doesn't have anything to do with real physics.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Any good engineer would know that.
Well, I'm not an engineer, so.
That was sarcasm.
The most sarcastic of all sarcasm ever spoken.
Yeah. Has.
Would you roll to attack?
Oh,
It's
no,
a
you
melee. Yeah, if it's a melee attack, you have to attack. I don't think so. Just roll a d100.
That wouldn't include my
No, those are just weapons that you are familiar with, or you that are
Okay.
within your proficiency, so you don't. Yeah. Unless it specifies you get a bonus with them.
90.
Okay, roll damage.
15.
Yay.
15 damage.
15 damage.
Durr. They took our damage.
They took our damage.
Okay.
They took our
You
damage.
run up, and before the zombie can turn to confront you, you stab him in the neck. Some black goo kind of oozes out.
Ew.
Ew.
Alright, Grok, you're up.
Oh, time to punch the things. I am going to hit him.
Oh, man, I didn't see that coming, to be honest.
95.
Alright, you hit.
Yeah. Don't get thing. 20 and the extra attack. Oh, the bonus attack is a crit for 16, so 36 total. And the second one is a crit of 10. For the d20 roll.
Okay. Alright. So, taking advantage of the slight distraction that Faye provides, you crack him in the side of the head, see his jaw kind of dangle loose, and you whip your other hand around, you crack him in the jaw again, it falls right off, and seems unfazed. But now there's goo just coming out of his neck, out of his nose, out of his mouth. His tongue is just hanging across his chest.
Disgusting.
It is pretty disgusting. I blame you.
Well, you know.
I do not know.
Oh,
Just gonna zap him again.
roll for damage.
Morbius, that's you?
12. Yeah. He got 12 more damage with his lightning.
Okay, you're lighting him up so much you can almost see the outline of his bones, but his feet are smoking and the ground around him is beginning to turn black.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay, so he is gonna claw at Grok.
Yay! I love it when things try to fight me.
Okay.
108.
Alright, give me damage.
I will give you damage. 17.
Alright, so he reaches out to grab you and claw you and do terrible things to you. And you literally just grab his wrist, do a rising kick into his armpit, rip the arm off, spin around, and stick it through his chest.
Yes! I like that. Beating him with his own arm. Do I get a disadvantage for using improvised weapon? Okay, well. Now he's dead.
Yes, he is. Alright, it is Faye's turn.
Is the other one not gonna come hang out?
Oh, shoot, wait, Faye, before you go, I almost forgot. This should have taken place at the beginning. All the three of you need to roll, what is it? Intelligence? What would be
For what?
saving throw against fear?
Guess at the end. Yeah?
Yeah.
It was what?
Intelligence.
D8?
What'd you say?
98.
Oh, 98. Okay. Faye and Morpheus.
109 for me.
Okay.
Oh, I guess is your modifier
All right.
20.
All right. Neo's guide cannot move towards the zombie at all. You can only move away from him, and and all your attacks are at disadvantage.
Oh man.
Okay.
Only Morbius.
Yes, because both of you passed
you
your
failed.
checks. Yeah.
27. Cool. So now it's my turn.
It is now your turn. Yes.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Because I can, I'm just gonna duck and roll over here.
Like making like 1,000 acrobatics rolls.
I know, it's so much fun. I'm having a great time with this. And then shoot him in the head.
Shoot
with
him.
Arrows.
Shoot him.
Shoot him.
Yes.
Shoot.
Shoot.
I don't know why we're doing that.
Because you said shoot him, not shoot him. You said shoot him.
I know.
Shoot him, condom.
Anyway.
Dear God.
Everything dies.
I'm sorry.
Just rolling for damage, right?
I forgot you were here.
Yes.
I'm listening.
You're rolling to hit, and then you're rolling for
Are you hitting
damage.
the character?
Slowly.
95
All right, that hits.
and 14.
14 damage.
Yep.
Okay. So the arrow thunks into his shoulder, unfazed. It is now Grok's turn to.
I'm gonna punch thing.
I was gonna predict that.
I'll move. If I move over here on the side of him, does he still get an attack of opportunity?
No, because you're not breaking contact with him.
Okay, cool, good. Because I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to leave some nice line of sight in case someone wanted to shoot him or lightning bolt some motherfuckers, whatever.
Oh. Unless you're grappled, it doesn't really work that way because you have about 10 feet of space that you're fighting in.
Oh. Okay then.
Yeah, it's only if you're grappled that happens.
Got it. 72.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to do his roll. Oh,
Okay.
Jesus. Yeah, that hits.
Yay.
And I'm gonna refresh this page about 1,000 times.
Okay.
Okay, give me damage.
Damage is 17. The bonus. Oh wait, did that? All right. Yeah, there you go. The bonus attack is a crit for an additional 16.
Okay, so 35 total.
35. 17 and 16.
Oh, I'm sorry, 32.
33.
3, right?
33.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Roll your crit.
Should be a nat 20 because it's a 33. It's 10.
It's 10. Okay. Then you run up and you hit him right in his side, hit him in his face, and you go to kick his knee out. But despite kicking him pretty hard, he doesn't even stagger.
Okay.
And that is now Morpheus' turn.
Lights. Morpheus.
Gonna Eldritch Blast the guy and stay right there. So you just have to roll for damage, right? 13.
Okay, 13 damage.
Yes.
Alright. Sizzles a little bit. You see a little bit of smoke come off his ear. And he is gonna. Okay. He's going to go ahead and claw at Grok and go to bite him.
Roll.
Yep. Just give me 2 rolls.
76 46 and 69. Hot.
Alright, so give me 2 damages.
Oh, okay. Well, because I didn't think that would suit. Oh, no, Firefox. I did not mean to click you. Fuck off. No one wants to. No, I do not want to make you my default browser. I want you. Oh. Alright. A 20 and a 14.
20 and 14, so 34 total. Okay, so he tries to bite and claw at you, and you're able to push his hands aside and snap one arm in half, and then when he goes to bite, you just push his head back and punch him in the throat, and you hear some crunching sounds.
Oh, good. Grok like crunch. Crunch good.
Okay, it is Faye's turn.
Woohoo! Guess I just like run up and stab him. Yeah. So,
Hey, what's the damage on that crossbow you have?
it's a D6 piercing. I just roll a D6. Yeah, it says piercing. I don't know.
Okay.
See, I definitely got a 34, so that's good.
For your roll?
Yep.
Oh my god. He's gonna hitch you.
Dang.
You sounded really apathetic, like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of want to get mauled by a zombie. Like, maybe that's why you keep running up. Do you have a thing for zombies?
Okay. So you run up and you try to stab this guy in the neck too, but right before your dagger bites into his flesh, he kind of lurches at you unexpectedly and bites you on the forearm.
Awesome.
You have some deep abrasions in your wrist, but you're okay. You take 10 points of damage.
Cool.
Grok.
Oh yeah, I get to hit him. With a stick. 105?
Yep, that's gonna hit him.
Yeah! And, nope, 2 16s, 32 total. The bonus attack is a crit. The crit roll is 12.
All right, so come over and you kick him in the knee, and you actually kick him hard enough that he sinks down a little bit. He goes to try and grab onto you, and you just pull on his wrist and chop right through his elbow. So his left arm is just a sharp little stump.
Can I hold on to the arm that I took and hit him with it?
You can, but it'll be at a disadvantage.
Never mind then.
I mean, unless you have proficiency in beating somebody to death with their own arm.
I mean, I've got. Oh god. I have proficiency with unarmed combat.
I'll allow it.
Oh my.
This is the best day ever. Oh man.
Oh my.
All right, Merovingian, your turn. All right.
Can you hear him?
I cannot hear him at all.
I have
Nobody
no
can
idea
hear
what he's
him.
saying.
I don't think Sen can hear him, and she's sitting next to him.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I heard something about a dagger.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I didn't hear whatever that was.
I'm not sure.
It's a 1d4 piercing, so minus 2. I don't have proficiency.
You're just throwing a dagger at him?
Yeah.
Okay. So you, I guess,
It's
you
within.
add your dex bonus
Yeah.
to the damage if you hit.
Yeah, and it's
you just
within
roll a-
30, so you're only going to take the minus 10 because you're not proficient in it.
So roll a d100 at minus 10.
Damn, they fucked everything up.
All right, that is gonna. I guess. I think that hits. Having a little trouble with the system tonight. Josh, he doesn't get a chance to roll against it, right? It's basically just.
No, it's just accurate.
Yeah, it's just his accuracy.
The distance axis is roll against it, unless he's got dodge, in which case that would be his.
Okay, so he'd have to
modifier.
with his with his modifiers, he'd have to roll above 40.
Okay.
Okay, so the dagger sticks into the ground next to the zombie's foot.
Roughly where Sin is. Roughly where Faye is standing. Or Gruff.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Okay, so the zombie is going to lurch forward and attempt to grapple Grok.
Oh, grapple me, eh? Is he. Is it strength?
It is strength.
Okay. 62.
Okay, so he, even with 1.5 arms, he's able to just dig his fingers into the back of your neck and pull you right into a bite.
Oh, wow. Does he not get a disadvantage for not having too much? That's weird.
He does not. He's a zombie. He really doesn't get a lot of like it's hard.
Oh,
Yeah, it's hard to crit on
Yes,
him
that
because he
makes-
doesn't feel any pain.
makes sense. So.
So you're able to turn your head at the last second, and he only Mike Tyson's you. So you take 4 points of damage, and your ear that already has a little bit of a hole in it has a slightly bigger hole in it.
My poor ear.
Okay, it
Making
is.
his face. This exact face right now, except with a part of it.
Oh, hold on. I gotta do one more thing for him. There we go. Okay, back to Faye.
Back to me. Alright, well, I'm going to try to stab him with my sword.
Okay.
So my attack was a 61.
Okay, give me damage.
11.
Okay, 11 points of damage. Okay, so you run up.
And I'm gonna jump away from him.
You.
Ah! I'm just gonna do like a backflip. If you really want, I can roll to see how that backflip.
Backflip right into a pillar.
I mean, you never know. But seriously, I can do that if you really want it.
Okay. As you're backing away, he reaches out towards you and takes an attack of opportunity.
So do I have a save
Well, you roll against him.
54.
Okay. As you start to flip away, you're gonna feel his claws scrape down your stomach,
Fuck this guy.
leaving four
God, I knew it.
kind of jagged tears in your skin. You take nine points of damage.
That's a prison.
Okay, and that is Grok's turn. Oh,
Gross.
by the way, in 5e, you have a skill. If you take no other action on a turn, you can disengage, and that, unless you have a specific skill that prevents that from happening, you won't incur an attack of opportunity. I think you have to have Sentinel, and then nobody can do that.
So am I
Yeah, it's Grok.
am I actively being grappled still?
Yes, you are.
Alright, well, my god damn it. Fuck off. Hold on. I'm just gonna remove this part and go away. Okay. So I'm gonna use my move action to grapple him. 102.
Okay, you break the grapple, but you can't. I don't think you can use your move action to do something
Yep.
like that.
Yeah, remember we talked about that before?
Oh, okay, so it's just two
Because
actions a turn then.
No. The grapple. Remember we had a conversation about this because if you can't grapple and do other stuff on a turn, it kind of makes grappling useless. So you grapple somebody and then you stand there.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So
Oh, that's
we
right.
talked-
You used your move action to do the grapple.
Yeah. Instead of
Yeah.
So
Unless you used your move action, then you have to use your other action. Got it. So the grapple can occur once per turn on either action.
and then I will then hit him. Because I mean, what else am I gonna do?
All right.
110. Jesus Christ.
All right.
Not
Yeah.
his day.
Give me some damage.
17 and 14.
Okay. You get in two really good hits right to his torso after you break it, after you break his grapple, and you just hear crunch, crunch, and
Don't
just
forget, I'm using his own arm against.
oh. So on one side you stab him with the arm, on the other side you mash his ribs in with your fist, and just black stuff is pouring out of his torso now.
Fucking excellent.
All right, Mobius.
It is 30.
I'm gonna witch blast.
Okay.
That was a natural 20, so that was a crit, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a crit. Roll a d20.
18.
Oh, 18.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Yeah, so you are going to shoot your lightning out, and something about today, or something about the zombie, maybe it's the fear, maybe it's the equinox or something, you're not sure, but this lightning just comes out of you so powerful. In fact, it burns a hole right through the zombie. Without even thinking, you whip your hands apart, one up, one down, and you slice the zombie in half. The smoldering remains fall one side on either side of Grok.
Yes. And now I don't want to turn the. I'm gonna turn the zombie because I got scratched.
Again, D&D zombie. All right, and with that, Mobius Stripper has ended combat.
Woohoo!
Yay. Should we head back to this camp over here?
Yeah, there's definitely at least one guy over there.
What? Oh, dang.
You're out of magic? I thought that your psychic blast, your eldritch blast thing was a cantrip.
Yeah, but I can't use my witch bolt.
Oh.
Okay. Faye, before you move away, give me a perception.
I just thought I had a proficiency for it, but I chose persuasion.
Why don't you use your persuasion? Persuade him that you have proficiency in.
101.
Alright. So, being a rogue, you have an eye for shiny things. And right before you turn around to leave, you see in a statue that's laying down just on the other side of that pillar a glint of something bright and green coming from its face.
Could be lasers.
Is it an emerald? Alright, can I go up and take it?
Yeah.
Cool. That's what I do. Yeah, I look around to see if there are any more emeralds inside the other pillar.
So it's not an emerald. As you pry it loose, the stone almost feels like a it almost feels like a marble. It's very well polished, and it's a little murky looking, but not quite opaque. And it doesn't seem to glint, more as it has its own internal glow.
I don't know what it is.
No, no idea. Unless you want to give me an intelligence. I don't know. Did you take any skills in Knowledge Arcana?
No, and I don't get any of that. Because I'm going to be an arcane trickster, so I won't get a choice of anything until level 3 for that, though.
It took history.
Wait, you're an arcane trickster with no Knowledge Arcana?
Well, right, because I don't get anything in.
No, Arcana is a skill, not a.
Oh, well, I guess it wasn't under my list of choices.
Well, did you take like a knowledge history or something?
I did.
Yeah, but you're not an arcane caster, so
No, but I took history, and I have spellbook.
I mean you could attempt to figure it out. Go ahead and give me a roll. All three of you can mull over it if you want.
Okay. 30. I rolled 30.
All right. Grok, you look at it and you think, it's pretty shiny.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Does my thieves, I don't know if my thieves can't include that or not.
No, you can go ahead and try and discern it.
I've got proficiencies in Arcana.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a roll then at advantage.
Yeah, plus 10. 43.
That was your best roll?
That was, yeah. Well, I mean, how many rolls do you get?
2.
This is at advantage.
Oh, gotcha. And a 40, so yeah.
Oh man.
So 43.
40.
Jeez, and I got a 28, so great.
Dear God.
All right. None of you can quite figure out what this is.
Right? This is stupid. Oh.
You may need to do some research before you can figure out what this thing does or what it is.
Well, great.
I'm gonna open up my spell book, look through it, flip a few pages, slam it close and say, yeah, it's definitely green.
It's definitely green and has some shine to it. Has some shine.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna go find some more people to punch in the face.
Alrighty.
Whee! Move 115 feet this way. Oh, hey! They showed back up. That's cool.
They did. They showed back up people.
These guys, like, if I run over here, they show back up. Now that I'm over here again.
Alright. I don't know where you are.
You're next to me.
Oh, yeah, that's how blind I am, just so you know.
Fucking kidding.
I know.
Where'd you go?
Sorry, man. And I'm a rogue.
Where'd Morbius go?
Sorry, I really had to look at what Thieves Can't does, because I needed to know if it added things, and I finally found it. I have like 50 tabs open, so.
Hey, Morpheus Blob is taking a little while to catch up.
Okay.
No, I do want. For the record, it really did disappear, so.
Click off of it. There you go.
I did, thank you.
No, that's on me. Now I can't get to my guy. Oh my god. Move him. Move him. Thank you.
No.
You know what? There. Now you can't move you. You're trapped.
Dang.
Just an orc. She's decided to, I guess, jump on your shoulders.
Can you jump on my shoulders?
Yeah.
Don't forget about
That, right.
I'm
Anyways,
not gonna
I
forget
guess I'm gonna keep moving this way.
No, I'm not gonna forget about the bloody quail.
Coming.
Yep. What'd you say?
I'm gonna keep moving this way towards the stuff. The incapacitated guy and the dead guy. What's
Gotcha.
this? So I'm gonna keep moving some more. Anyway, this way. I'm gonna say hi, buddy.
Well, which way are you? What is your destination? Where are you going to?
Ultimately, I'm heading, I guess, further into the camp.
Okay.
But I'm moving it at my movement distance per turn. I guess, are you guys not coming?
Sorry, I was reading things.
Can we just assume that they're following me?
Yeah.
Okay. 30. 30 more. Another fire. More. Nothing. Horsey. I'm gonna go to the horse. Still nothing.
Alright. Grok, give me a perception.
Perception. 97. Slightly better than the 30. Hey, I can see a guy.
Yep. That's what you see.
I'm gonna go fight him.
Well, hold on. He has a crossbow aimed at you.
Oh, well. Good.
Right, everybody stop moving. It's
Yeah,
Faye,
combat.
can you move back to where you were?
No.
Yes.
I tried. I was
Well,
like,
if you're there, you're probably out of line of sight, and then you hide and sneak up on him and murder him while I
I
punch him
can't
in the
see him,
face.
so.
Exactly. You can't see him. He can't see you. All he sees is. Say, yes.
All right. So his bolt drops a little low, but it still rams right into your kneecap. And oh man, does it smart. You're not gonna be able to run quite as far as you were before. Your movement speed's reduced by 5.
Okay.
And you take 12 points of damage.
You take an arrow to the knee.
Oh man, I'm no longer an adventurer.
Okay, so let's
Oh dang.
let me go back to this stuff. So now we start combat, so let me get the initiative list. Got it. 18, 15, 14.
Man, I can't wait till level 3.
Okay. Combat starts and it is phase turn.
Faye is suffering from dissonant whisper. What?
I'm whispering things.
I know.
How's my job? I can't see anyone. What am I gonna do?
I don't know. When you saw an arrow fly into my leg from a general
I
direction
did.
from here, like I just
But I'm not just gonna like run out there and sacrifice myself for being.
why not?
That doesn't sound very safe.
What do you mean it doesn't sound safe? You rushed into a camp, killed some zombies, and murdered a bunch of people. You killed a guy in cold blood. God, are you running away? Are you leaving me here?
No, I'm moving. Oh, I'm not trying to sneak around. Didn't it? That's where I move, and I'm not gonna move into a light where the dude can see me. So my choice has been made.
Betrayal, I forgot.
Alright, is that your turn? You just moved?
It is.
Alright. Grok.
Rock's turn. As far as I can move.
See, you ran
But
away
now
too.
you can't see me. Ooh, I can move an extra 25. Move right here. Now you can't see me, but if he walks out, I punch him in the fucking face. Duh.
Alright.
Oh, there's another one. Fuck.
Morbius.
There's another one. I see another one. What? He's in the tent to the right.
That's all you can do. Because you can't really see anyone, so
Yeah,
you
but
can
if
just
the
like
other guy
throw
comes up,
magic willy-nilly.
do it. I'm gonna punch him in the face.
Willy-nilly
Yeah.
magic. No, it's been done.
I can prestidigitation.
I don't know what that means.
Ooh. Let's go.
Yes.
I can do that. That's what prestidigitation can do.
Okay.
Okay.
Come on, he's putting out the campfire. With magic.
Okay, give me a roll for that.
Yep.
67.
That's one more than 66.
That is correct.
Alright. All of a sudden the fire just goes and disappears.
It goes. Got it.
Yep.
I'm gonna get a horse.
Wait, so if the campfire went out, why is it now brighter?
It's
Because
It's
I couldn't
not.
enable Fog of
Oh,
War
right, it's
without
opposite.
screwing up the entire map.
Yeah.
it gets all fucking. So just presume everything is really fucking dark now. I've got dark vision.
Me too.
Shit. Oh, everyone has dark vision except for those
Yep.
stupid Yumi. Fucking dumbass Yumi.
Okay. Oh, what's going on? There we go.
Move him close so I can punch him already.
All right. You hear a guy curse, and crossbow clatters out of the tent. And a moment later, you see a guy stumble out of the tent, brandishing a longsword, and he kind of sees you in the dark, but barely, and he starts swinging at just the shape of you.
Okay.
Okay.
110.
All right. So he swings by you. You're able to sidestep it, and go ahead and go ahead and do damage.
16.
All right. So you hear him, kind of go whoof when you hit him right in the stomach, but you also feel the breastplate underneath his tunic.
Okay.
Okay. Then you hear a whoosh as the guy in the other tent fires blindly into the night.
Good to know.
Nice.
I have a question. How did you do the armor for these guys?
The same way that I selected the type of armor, and I selected the appropriate number of armor points for that.
Okay.
So you did damage to him, but then it was reduced by his armor.
Okay. I was just making sure that because I don't remember actually talking about it.
Yeah, I was just kind of winging it when I selected armor values.
Okay. What just out of curiosity, what did you use as a
He's
base
got
armor value?
a base armor value, like leather armor that these guys
Yeah.
have. I was giving them 1. Anything that's like a thick hide, I gave them 3. And this guy's wearing a breastplate made out of thick steel, so he's got 10.
Yeah, no. That was wrong. Yeah, the armor values don't increase like exponentially like that. It's linear.
No,
So it's only like
well, there's a bunch of armors in between that he could have worn, like chainmail and ring mail and splint mail and.
yeah, but like the armor values, because they get modified off of endurance, if you use base 10 and then you modify it off of like 5 endurance, you now have a literal shit ton of armor. Which is why which is why they modified off of stats so that like armor still scales without you having like an insane base number of armor, but you can still use decent armor, and you need to probably fix those numbers. So he shouldn't. I mean, if you're using 10 as a base, then he shouldn't get any bonus to it. But realistically, you should use something closer to like 4, maybe 5, or like 4 for 5 for heavy armor.
Okay, so it'd be 5 times 0.6 plus 5.
So it should roughly be about 8, right?
Yeah, it is 8.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a little more realistic. There you go.
Quail.
I'm going to get the quail.
Oh, quails.
Oh god, just leave
Yeah.
Jerry.
Also, you take 2 points of damage as a arrow kind of grazes your calf.
Well, I've got a bunch. It doesn't get through my armor, so
Alright.
I'm not even gonna bother.
So it is now back to Faye.
Shoot him. That's so cute.
I know. Thank you. Just seeing. So, he's 45 feet in front of me, so I should be able to see him. Dark vision. I'm gonna use sneak attack with my crossbow, and since I should have the advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. so I get to roll damage twice.
Oh no, it's you guys are in. Oh yeah, I guess he can't see you in the darkness at all.
No.
All right.
Cool. So the first was 11, then 14.
11 and 14.
Mm-hmm.
25. Okay.
I mean, I guess Where's the other guy in the tent that I know he's shot from and I should have seen there?
He's in the tent to the right.
He's in
Over
the
here.
tent.
This one.
Okay, that's what I was making sure. I was like, there's 2 tents to my right.
Yeah.
I guess go here next to Morbius. Okay, end of my turn.
Okay.
It's now Grog's
It
turn.
is now Grok's turn.
Yes, we do. 88.
Tom, you're
Okay.
dying.
What? Who do ties go to?
Did he actually roll an 88?
Yeah.
Did you do the -10 for my dodge?
Yeah, but he also gets a -10 for dodge
Oh, why does he get dodge?
because he's the captain here, not just a normal bandit.
Okay, well, I guess we just roll again because that's never happened before.
All right.
100.
Well, that'll hit him.
Alrighty then. Takes... Oh, that's a crit. And that is also a crit. So he takes 38 and 2 crits, 1 at 8 and 1 at 4. So those weren't very good crits. But he does take 2 crits.
And how much damage? 38?
Yep.
All right. So you step in and you knock his sword out to the side, and you just drop your knee down on the inside of his thigh, and his leg kind of buckles a little bit underneath it. And as you step back, you just grab his tunic, pull it down, and you hammer your knee into it so far you feel the metal bend like paper,
Nice.
and you just knock the wind out of him.
What time is it?
Sounds fun.
It's 10:40. There's 20 minutes left.
I'm just worried they're gonna get eaten.
I'm gonna go get them.
They're so small.
In 20 minutes, we'll
and
go
vulnerable.
turn on the outside light.
That's not gonna stop something from eating them.
No, but we can watch. And if something comes up, we'll go out there. And in 20 minutes, I'm gonna go get them. All right. It's the opposite of doing something for the quails, but okay. And I'll be in
You're
bed in a little
still
bit.
in your clothes.
Oh my god. I told you I'm gonna go out and get them. Whose turn is it? It's Mobius?
Mobius.
Morbius?
Mobius.
I thought we established he was 55. And then Eldritch Blast it. No, just kidding. Eldritch Blast. You got 19.
On which guy? The leader? Alright, so his hair just goes up in flames and his eyes just turn off. He drops to his knees. A little bit of smoke shoots out of his left ear and then he just tips over to the right.
That's fantastic.
So he's dead? Yeah.
Alright, the last guy is screaming for mercy.
Screaming for what?
He's dropped to his knees and thrown his bow out of the tent and he's screaming for mercy. He just saw he couldn't see anything until he saw his captain kind of burst into flames.
Nice.
So we're not going to have time to do Glitter Doom, but
Okay.
real fast. A cursory search of this reveals that the bandit captain was carrying the key to Glitter Doom. He has half of a heart-shaped black diamond.
Oh,
He has 30 gold and 120 silver,
nice.
and a highly decorated dagger.
Nice. Well, I guess we can split the gold and silver between us pretty
I have
evenly.
the dagger. Oh,
I'm taking the horse.
And I will be right back, so figure out how you want to distribute that.
why the frick do you need a dagger? You're a wizard.
Warlock.
Why does a warlock
You're a
need
wizard,
a
Harry.
dagger? You need a dagger? I'm a rogue. I need the dagger more than you do.
Well, he threw his other one. Idiot.
Yeah, he can go pick it back up. Yeah, but you can. It's there, I'm sure. The fuck's because you're too lazy means you get a goddamn pretty dagger? What is this jewel gonna do for me? The dagger is gonna kill people for me. I don't know. I just think that one was pretty. There wasn't a dagger to choose from. Okay. You can have the jewel. Take it. Well, then I'll take it. Was it 100?
Barry.
How much
Barry,
gold?
did you make a character? It's it works out. If you split it evenly, it's 10 gold each and 40 silver.
I don't know what I want to be. That's my problem.
You want the
I don't.
healer.
You need a healer.
Well, I'm a monk.
Do we?
Do you?
I mean, probably. I mean, unless any of you want to heal.
Nope.
I mean, or can heal because I punched thing. I mean, I have like the medicine skill, but I am not very good at it. And now I have Trapson or Fae, Basin, whatever.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, do literary trap.
What will I do?
I don't know. Drugs.
Probably not a good thing. Oh, man. I organized and then forgot how much gold.
10 gold, 40 silver. So very. What do you think? Well, right now, the party composition is a monk, a warlock, and an arcane trickster. Rogue. So I
Monk,
guess.
a warlock, and an arcane trickster rogue.
Yeah. They seem to like murdering people. My guy. He just likes fighting. He doesn't care if they're dead or just incapacitated. But I did not hear what you said.
We didn't have to kill that guy, but he was out of range for my awakened mind, so I just decided to Eldritch Blast him.
Alright, that works.
He
Well,
shouldn't
I'm
have been so far
talking
away.
more about the guy that Sin murdered in cold blood.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Oh, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
My character gives 0 fucks.
See that. Mine gives some fuck, but only.
That's fair. Once you kill the person that you love most, why stop yourself from killing people who don't matter to you?
Why did you kill the person you love most?
Well, it's a very personal question, sir.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna be ever standing behind me at any point in time, which you currently are, I feel like that's a question I'd like to know. the answer to, because I don't want to get murdered.
It wasn't my fault, but it was still by my hand. It was under the influence of some magic.
Some magic. Ooh, there's a
Yeah.
cart here. We
And
could
I came
search this
to.
cart. I could get inside of the cart and hide there.
And?
Look.
Oh shit. I can't.
Yeah, you can. Just put your character thing in there and then look at the line of sight on it.
Yep.
You can hide in the cart.
I mean, I still see me, so.
You can still see you, but people
No,
can't see in or out of it.
Oh. I'm on your horse.
That's my horse. I'm taking that horse.
Oh, I'm on it.
Done. Problem solved.
How much? We're doing experience or what?
I have no idea. Talk to Comrade when he ever returns.
Comrade!
He's gone forever.
Great. How do I heal myself from these wounds?
I can throw potions at you. Actually, I have the medicine skill.
I mean, I guess this is ending, and I'll just do that anyway.
I have the medicine skill. I can roll to heal you.
Cool.
I do have some bandages. Medical stuff.
Dang it.
So, Barry, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I mean, I could run a healer, but I'd have to see what can heal.
I mean, in 5e, it's basically just a cleric. I think druids maybe get some healing spells.
I'll see about it.
I looked it up. If I remember correctly, it's basically just druids. It's clerics heal for sure. Druids get, some healing stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's it. I think paladins get, some heals and some stuff, but they get it at a decreased rate. And yeah. So that's pretty much all of it.
Okay.
I make potions. I can throw them at people, but that's the best I can do.
Yeah, that's not much.
Really not. But I'm literally taking skills so that I can throw them.
Nope. Don't do that, computer. That's the wrong file.
Oh man, did you actually accidentally open up your porn?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Hate when that happens.
On that note, I'm gonna go pee.
Okay.
Go get it back! Just literally move your character over there and go get it back. That is your problem.
Yeah, seriously. The hell?
Well, I can decorate.
Gross.
Good. Now it wants to work. Okay.
Now he can't move. Oh wait, what? No, I can't move. How the fuck did that happen? Oh god, what happened? What the shit just happened to my character? What happened here? Why don't you mash those a little harder?
Wait, who do what?
You. I said, why don't you mash those a little harder?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Josh, had a quick question for you.
Got a quick answer.
All right, so it's about how accuracy works. I think I might be missing something. I just want to make sure.
Okay.
So the base accuracy for something like a crossbow is 90, right?
Yeah.
Okay, meaning you just have to roll above a 10 within a certain range.
Yes.
Okay, so if the range is 80, you just have to roll above a 10 within 80 feet.
Yes. And anything anything outside of that range, either closer or further away, rolls at a disadvantage. So it rolls at minus.
Minus 10 and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Right. So within that range, within that 80, do I have the leeway to, what do you call it? Freaking, figure out other disadvantages, like somebody's moving very quickly, somebody's running, somebody has something in front of them, various things that would make it harder for somebody to shoot somebody.
I mean, yes. I mean, like if they're running very quickly, then yeah, it'd be a little harder to hit them. If there's like objects obscuring them, then yeah, it's harder to hit them. There's so on and so forth. I mean, like you just kind of.
Hey, chief.
Get back.
Gesundheit.
I have no idea.
That was Lisa sneezing.
Oh, okay. Couldn't tell. It's kind of at the same time Jerry was making noise. Just sounded like a really weird noise.
Yeah, because I wasn't certain what I could do, like when the fire went out and the guy was shooting at you. I just did a disadvantage, but he still only had a 10% chance to miss. So
yeah, you can apply different penalties based on like obscuring and things like that. Like if he can't see me, if you can't see someone, really, like, I mean, at that distance, he could probably guess where I was, but he'd be rolling at like an extreme like disadvantage like that. His accuracy would, if he can't see me, like actually shooting, basically impossible.
yeah. All right. Yeah, that was just what I wanted to know.
Yeah. I mean, stuff like that. You kind of have to like figure the penalty to yourself. I mean, like over a distance with like blind. I mean, So I guess we're gonna tie up this guy.
Oh, is someone still alive?
Yeah, this guy, the guy who surrendered. And I'm gonna take the horse. He's mine now.
I took the dagger. And the jewel. What is so special about it?
What's special about what?
Oh, the shaped diamond thing?
Oh, the half a diamond heart? The half a heart black diamond?
Yeah.
You don't know. All right.
I also took the decorated dagger.
I also took a horse.
Okay. You seem to remember an ancient legend, but you're not quite sure what it was. It had something to do with the heart, or with a heart, and with some type of ritual.
Voice. Hey guys, this thing was used in some kind of ritual thing. I remember that from a story somewhere I heard.
What about the dagger? Is it the same?
I'm gonna look at that thing.
Good to know.
Maybe I want to investigate the dagger. I will.
I would like to make this horse mine.
Do it.
All of a sudden, I really want chips.
We were just talking about that earlier. Of putting chips in people's mouth. Comrade, what do I need to do to make the door small?
To make the give me an animal handling roll.
Okay. 112.
All right. Well, and being that it's a pretty standard pack horse, it's pretty used to being passed between owners and is quite docile for you.
Yeah. Now to mimic.
Can I investigate my dagger?
Yeah, you can try.
I shall name it. I don't know what my name it. Is there anything in these tents? Can I search these tents?
You wouldn't find anything of note. It doesn't seem like the bandits have been collecting much loot.
What about the wagons?
I got a 99.
They've got some food on them, some rotten potatoes.
I don't want any rotten potatoes.
Yeah. So Faye, you look at the dagger and you kind of notice that it has almost an ethereal glow around it, and you feel feel very conscientious of your surroundings when you're holding it. In fact, so much so that you realize no one can really sneak up on you anymore.
Oh, hell yeah.
As soon as you put it back into your pack, the feeling passes. As soon as you take it out of your hand, the feeling passes.
Oh, so I have to be holding.
I suggest that we tie it to her arm.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Now it's got to be equipped as a weapon.
Oh,
We can
okay.
tie it into her hand.
I mean, I'm gonna equip it, I guess, instead of my short sword. I kinda like my short bow.
So I guess the plan is one, I have a horse. It's noise.
Wasn't that guy supposed to be waiting for us?
I guess there's also this guy. Well, we haven't finished it. We're supposed to go into this
Oh, right.
dungeony place and
In my head, we finished.
Yeah. No, there's a whole dungeon.
Right. Well, how much damage does this dagger do? Great, stop it! Stop it!
No, in every other way, it's a standard dagger. However, one thing I also forgot is magical creatures only take half damage from non-magical weapons.
yay.
So those zombies, you were supposed to be dealing half damage, but I forgot.
Well,
Does that mean my dagger?
Your
My dagger is magical?
Yes, your
can you move
dagger
your
is
bag of
magical.
chips slightly further away from your microphone. They're literally louder than you are.
Take your microphone out of the bag of chips.
That would be fantastic, actually.
It's definitely cheese.
Whatever it is. Loud.
It's crunchy.
Yes, crunchy cheese.
No, it's just a bag of
I know.
Careful, your cat might lay on them and keep you from speaking.
Very speaking.
Yeah, so that dagger it's magical. It would do full damage to a magical creature, but it's a normal dagger. Other than that. No, so I'm going to go ahead and allow you guys to move this guy around. Oh, why did he move? Oh, I clicked the wrong button.
I see that.
Yep. So all of you should be able to move him now.
Nope, I can't see anything now. Oh, wait, nope. Nope. I can't. Every time I click on him, the whole thing disappears.
Oh, whoops. I got it.
Ah, nope.
Really?
Nope. Still just me. I click on them, but if I try to click on him, entire interface disappears. Or like I guess all the icons disappear, not the interface.
Really?
Yeah, actually I can click on literally anything but him. I can click on the other enemies and nothing happens, and it's cool. But if I click on him, everything disappears.
Is it because it's too dark?
Oh, I can move him. But everything disappears if I do it. Like I have to click and drag, and then everything disappears. Because I can no longer see the players.
I see. That's the issue.
Oh, hey, there they are. Well, he has really limited vision.
No, he's actually got pretty excellent vision. I need to correct that.
Oh yeah, he kind of does. Let's see. He can see like a billion. And his vision's better than mine.
There we go.
Okay, so.
Did we get experience? Or are we just waiting, leveling up the way we did last time?
Yeah, I rarely do experience-based leveling. I do merit-based leveling.
Yay.
So you guys will probably see a new level at after the completion of this quest. Alright, well I'm gonna have to get off.
Alright.
I thought that was a pretty fun session.
Pretty good. Shut up, Jerry.
He just wants to sing you the song of his
The worst
people.
bird.
Yep.